What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We are back, the Whiskey Boys, here for the ESA Cup Season 9. I am still the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, my partner, my co host, Mr. Whiskey Run. What you say there, Whiskey?
Yeah, welcome everyone to the ESA Cup Season 9. And the qualifiers are done. The Swiss stage is done. It is time for playoffs. Playoff game number one in this double elimination bracket starts right now. And it is Team LDL taking on Team Asgard.
Yeah, should be a good one. A best of three barn burner. Let's see where the staff lies. Let's see where the predictions are. Let's see what we thought
hmm
was going to be the outcome here, and kind of looks like a little bit overwhelming towards LDL there. What do you say,
Yeah.
Whiskey?
I mean, LDL Valor, they have got to be one of the best teams in console siege over the last 12 months. They have racked up wins across the board for ESA and in RSX, several different leagues. They are the team to beat. Valor is nearly undefeated. And speaking of undefeated, they won all three of their games in the Swiss stage. So they haven't even played a game here in the ESA Cup in like a month because they were so good at the beginning waiting for the rest of this bracket to finish up. So I think the people that voted for Asgard, Nanos might be struggling here with that prediction because I don't know. Right now, Team LDL Valor is looking very good.
Yeah, but this is where the magic happens, baby. This is where the stories are born, the Cinderella take it to the top, the miracle
hmm
on sticks, if you will. And that's what we're going to be watching here today. It's going to be competitive, it's going to be back and forth, and it's going to take all three to get it done. That's my guess. I'm reading the script. Let's take a look at the team stats. How do they actually stack up against each other here? And a myriad of stats coming out. Say, Whiskey.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of, I mean, names that you know for sure. LDL Valor, this is a team that used to play as Minions, were incredibly successful, and then now is LDL, and now is LDL Valor. They have been incredible. So everybody is positive, with the exception of on entry, except for Uncert. So LDL Valor is going to be very, very tough to beat. But Asgard, even though it took them, all of the Swiss games to get to this point. They've got some standouts as well. I mean, a KOST of over 70% for three of the four team or three of the five players. Incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And what does that tell us, like on the Valor side of it, with those KDs, those entries sitting so high, these headshot percentages that are over 50? That means we're going to see some aggression, right? That means we're going to see some quick peaks. We're going to see that taking that real estate quick, capitalizing on those mistakes, and then punishing the other team for not quite being around, for not checking it out. But it's happened on both sides of the board. I mean, 1.61, the man is on fire with almost a 50% headshot rating. I mean, we've got some bona fide talent going against each other on both sides of it. So I did promise, though, a best of three, right? Three chances to get it done. Let's take a quick look here at the map bands and find out exactly where we're going. Bank, clubhouse, cafe, and lair off first. Nobody, Whiskey, wants to touch lair. What's the deal?
I we need to see it. We saw it a lot at the Montreal Major, more I think than we were expecting because the pro teams, right, learning that map, getting ready for it, and continuing to build strats for it that were very good. That is going to filter down into the lower leagues, the entry leagues in Siege as well. And so I know we're going to see that map pick up pace a little bit more, right? It waited all the way until the fourth map to be banned before it was gone. That means the teams were at least considering it. But Consulate and Border as places to start, those are great maps and very different styles of play. So we'll get to see something special there. And then I know your favorite map, Nighthaven, to close it out.
That's why I'm hoping we get to 3. Nighthaven is such a fun map. It is the place to beat for good teams to go. Now, that doesn't just take away anything from Consulate or Border, right? They both have their places. Border, incredibly attacker sided. It can give you those fast, quick entries, that verticality that has to be had. And Consulate It's the close quarter combat arena, right? All of those sneaky little areas, all of those corners, all of those dark hallways just let you have the ability to bring a shotgun and hold a position like 300 style, right? Just one lone man against the masses as they try to steam on through. That's what I love about Consulate. That's what I love about Border, and Nighthaven to finish us off could be an absolutely banger game.
Wow, yeah, I mean, taking a look at like the stats that ESA has had as well from a statistics standpoint, uh, Border surprisingly a little bit defensive sided, and I know that's a change up from what we see on the PC side and the NA side of the world. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Border plays out at a 51% defensive win rate. But the one that I think is going to be a little bit tough with Asgard starting on defense on Nighthaven. Nighthaven almost 57%, one of the more on the in the map pool currently. So that gives them a little boost. That means LDL wants really is going to need to try to pick up Consulate here to start off with and then win their map pick and avoid going to what could be a more difficult Nighthaven for them.
Yeah, and you can tell with the entry that LDL brings to the table, Border obviously going to be a favor to LDL. So you can see why they would pick it, right? The team that has good communication and can hit the gap quick is going to find themselves really incredibly successful on Border, especially if you have a few of those players who can still sit back and play the long. Consulate, it's the test, right? One of the newest maps to the pool. It's got some dedicated defaults up top that you are prone to take, right? The admin overside, the in and out window play to plant on either sides of the windows. It's got a ton of different areas to attack it, but it seems to be that there's just a couple of defaults in the way that you approach it. I wonder if that's going to be the same thing now that we're here on the sticks.
I would guess that production just chiming in there. It is, I was still working on getting everybody in the lobby, so I think that means we're going to need to take a little bit of a break before we get started. But you said it. I'm very interested to see how the PC console um, changeover here is going to work as we enter the playoffs, where everything means just a little bit more here at the ESA.
That's right. Sit back, relax, because when we come back, we're going to bring you the start of the first map. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We are back. We've got them in the lobby, and we've got a little bit of a special way to start this one today, eh, Whiskey?
Special is one way of talking about it. Unfortunately, rules are rules, and here at the ESA, being late to a start incurs a penalty. So in this case, we are going to be starting off not at 0-0. We're going to start off with LDL 3-0. One of the Team Asgard players struggling to get in the lobby to start this thing off. So means we're heading into round four, and I've got no idea how those first three rounds went from a strategy
Attackers need to
perspective. They
locate
just
and
went in
defuse a
LDL's
bomb.
favor.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're talking about the teams that are just like the incredible ones that you have to beat, this is a tough one to start the first bit of round rotate over and done. And you don't have that chance for adaptation on the attack side of it anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Gonna have to start at the beginning. I mean, at least from an LDL perspective, on a defensive sided map, they're guaranteed those first three. So we're only gonna get one full round rotate.
10
No
seconds
ability
to
for
insertion.
Asgard to understand and adapt based on how LDL was
5 seconds
managing
remaining.
that strategy and the way that they're managing these floors. So.
Attackers must
I,
locate
for
and
sure,
defuse a bomb.
difficult for Asgard from a variety of perspectives, but we're going to kick it off and starting on the second floor with some area denial. I mean, really leaning into it here from the Valor side with both the Goyo and the smoke.
Yeah, so let's talk bans because that's one of the things that we missed, right? Off the board for the attack side, there's going to be a standard Monty going to be that space taker not going to be utilized here, but a little bit of a strange one. And I'm not sure if maybe this is a target ban or exactly how it got played out, but Nook not going to be utilized on the attack side of it as the first Asgard ban. So defensive wise, Cade and Valgon, both of those are understandable bans. Hold on to the hatch. That intel that Val can provide huge. So yeah, we go up to the top floor. Smoke and Goyle being utilized to make
Bomb
sure that
located
that
by
plant
attackers.
isn't going to be necessitated. What do we talk about being one of the most important parts of 2F is what anchor are you bringing to the table? Is it the smoke? Is it the Tachanka? Are you relying solely on the Goyle with a echo counter? Uh, in this case, they doubled up on it, and I think that's because they're trying to stop that immediate take. Right, Asgard's going to need a quick win here to be able to start bringing this back into their favor.
Yeah, that's right. And working from the admin oversight, and you said it, the Nook ban, definitely interesting. Only two other times in all of the rest of the ESA Play Cup for season 9 here. So this is only her third time being banned, which leaves a lot of others on the board, but none of those real other bans made it on. No Blitz, no Brava. No Ying, so they are going to be available, but not being played here at the start as we start up on 2F. And looking as this is working their way over, Senzo was the one they were waiting for, and he is the first to go down here. Tied up 4-4, though, with a minute left. They're moving a little bit slowly in terms of a strategy perspective, not rushing in and not taking any chances. They're trying to get it set up.
Yeah, absolutely. Mute gets taken off the board as the body bounce does shift over into Team Asgard's hand, and it's a classic admin overtake here. Yeah, you see that the part that they'll struggle with is potentially getting onto that vending machine, but they've already forced them back into sight, so pushing him into that bunkered up position. Now, he does have some corner support there and a shotgun in the hand to be able to do it. Two of them, actually, as both Warden and Smoke are going to be rocking those. Looking for the spoiler down below, but everybody up top as the Goyos and the Smoke start to slow down that potential plant from going out. That's the reason admin over is so dangerous,
Oh,
is because you can just get on there and get yourself a plant. A quick peek here off the window doesn't
15
amount
seconds
to
left.
much. It's 15 seconds. They have the body bounce, but they don't have a way to get in and
10
get that
seconds
plant
remaining.
going just yet. Now it's all on to Warden. He's going to be the last alive and the
what?
last to die.
Holy cow, I thought from what we were seeing right now that, that was going to be an LDL victory. They had stalled out enough time. Seemed like the Asgard team couldn't really gain any ground, couldn't gain a foothold there into sight to get the a plant down, but that wasn't their objective. All they needed to do was walk in and take the rest of that LDL Valor team out, pulled it off, and won their first round there on attack.
Attackers need to
It's
locate and defuse
unfortunate
the
that they
remaining
couldn't do
bombs
that
and
back
secure
on
the room.
round 1, but you know what? Round 4 is a great place to start.
That's true. If you don't have a choice, there's a place to go. They get there first on the board and hit half the quota, right? I mean, standard split for this defensive side of it finds us in a 4-2. So getting one off the board, it's going to feel a little bit better. Still going to rely on some of that area denial with the Goyo on the board, but going to switch some things up here. Bring out the dock, a little bit of that health. Mira back up and a roaming vigil. There it is, Mr. Whiskey. That boss G makes
10
its
seconds
appearance
left
again.
before insertion.
Oh yeah, and Madari was the one from
5
the team
seconds to go.
stats that had such an incredible run. His entry was
Attackers need to locate
26
and
and
defuse the
7
bomb.
from that graphic back during the pre-show. It seems a long time ago, but running Vigil as his primary favorite operator as well. So a KD of 1.5 and an entry of 26 and 7. I think certainly backed up by that boss G. So that's the man to be watching as this initial start to the round takes off.
Yeah, but look, he's already everybody's sitting up on that second floor. He is in the meeting, so he is still going to be impactful. He still is going to be that presence, especially if he gets sussed out. But no first floor presence here outside of the on the side of the defense. No spoilers, no impact players, which means they're going to get that vertical for free. Except for there it is. Look, give him one to start us out. That's going to be the body bounce
Another
over the
entry.
LDL right away. Yeah.
Man, make it 27. It's an unbelievable stat, and oh, that's unfortunate for
Dang.
the Flores drone to miss the landing. He's going to have just a couple seconds left. Take out that barbed wire and the desk there on reception upstairs, the top of spiral. But man, and that wasn't even with the Boss G. That was done with the SMG 12. So he's deadly with the secondary as well. And
Yeah.
like you said, entry LDL Valor taking the opening pick here.
Sends in a grenade as the repel starts to let him inside of the admin. It's a similar take to what you've seen before. Pushing up, taking on Printer. See that first bit of a test going to be towards that vending machine area. Flores finds his life forfeit to the shotgun. His ash gets dropped down to a 27 HP. Goyo the next to fall as a impact goes out from below, looking for a little bit of that verticality. Or no, maybe that was through the drone hole because there is nobody down below to send that up. It's a 4v3 with a minute and 12 left onto the board. They're trying to suss out who was downstairs for any sort of impacts were coming out. There's nobody down there, folks.
Yeah, that's just maybe a little bit of a misread there from the attackers and causes them to change up the way that they're approaching it, running scared, running slow, and losing another operator in the process. In a 4v1, it is all down to Yoshiro.
Yep. So got to be on pace. Oh, there's one goes for the second, but shut down immediately as the crouch fire comes through. Doc with the long range stim, and then the kill to follow it up. Give him MVP for the round for that one.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the dock play in as a part of some of the previous rounds. What in previous leagues, he's making a comeback. It feels like as a part of the Rainbow Six Siege. He's sort of had a long drought there, not being played. But I think teams realizing that that long distance heal is starting to be an important part of their setup. So LDL taking it upstairs, so they lose one. Come back and win it there on their second attempt, the second floor, puts them at a 4-1. And you said it, Asgard, they got one on their attack to get close to that quota, but one more opportunity now, round six, and it's going to happen in the basement. Like this Mira setup too. Mira just so good at holding the basement, and not surprising to see the bandit out to try and trick that main garage wall, such an important push point and an entry, and force the defense to have to worry about a very large area if they can get that garage wall open.
Double up on it for the side of the attack. Thermite and Ace, so a little bit of a two-pronged approach, potentially that split theory, where you see him come in through that secret area and open up, of course, that main breach. Maybe used for the summon charges, get that hatch opened up to apply some of that verticality as well, as there's no other can openers on the board here. So it's a good defense. This is the setup. This is a good attack strat to get there. It's 4-1. It's the last round of the first half of map number one. Asgard's map pick, they need this round, right? Because a 5-1 and a 4-2 are completely different storylines when you're going into your half for the attack or the defense. So now you're starting to see Ash making that quick entry. Is going to get stymied by a door. Location now known as she's going to blast that open. Nobody really there looking to take advantage of it. As Dokubi's coming up to help play as well. Bandit take a little bit of damage down to that 61 HP, but survives to tell the tale. Oh, in fact, answer back. It's a Vector to find Ash down.
Yeah, I mean, you called it the push into secret as far as splitting up this attacking range to go for possibly the main breach and secret as well. You called it. Secret's open. They got the entry in. They opened up the wall, made the push downstairs, but then lose Ash in the process. Hugely unfortunate now, and it's looking like they're slowing down, stymieing a bit. And you could see the bandit through the wall. Yes, he did get it. The trick in play. Thermite out of charges, no more opportunity to open up the walls. They're going to have to go through the doors on their way to site.
That's right. Take it in the traditional way here. Now having to deal with that vector that is just becoming all too deadly. A couple of quick jiggle peeks is getting close to a mountain to kill, but really just starting to toy with them. Plenty of defenders, and by plenty, I mean all of them still alive. Well, let's Sansa zombie. She's going to get nixed off the board as now we find ourselves into a 4v2 situation, a real bait scenario, right? You're going to have to find one or two more to get yourself set up for a potential execute. And there's some barbed wire going to do some damage. And you know what? Give the Vector
Wow.
another one. Finds himself 3 on that round.
Boy, the sends on that just swinging wildly all over the screen, but manages to get a kill in that place. It felt a little chaotic, but it came up when it needed to. Like you said, LDL Valor picking up their fifth there. So 5-1 half for Consulate. Not, I wouldn't say that's entirely surprising, right? Consulate checking in at 56% defensive win. It's unfortunate though, maybe giving Asgard a little bit more opportunity and not forfeiting those first 3 rounds, we might have seen a little bit of a different setup, but it's their opportunity now to take advantage of the side statistics. Asgard on defense trying to come back from a 5-1 deficit. They're going to have to be great here to start this off and slow down the momentum because they don't have very much opportunity to do that.
Yep. Yep, you said it, my friend. Okay, so time to switch gears, get into the ops swap as we're going to take a look what Asgard is bringing to their defensive side. It is going to be a little bit of a classic setup. Bandit to stop him from getting into that main breach. Warden to sit himself on that vending machine area, stop any advances towards that great invisible wall that divides up 2F. And of course, will might help solidify his hold there. And Legion, who's just become the staple, right? The lesion that is that staple of almost every defense we see him utilized on any sort of map. Okay, so take a look at the attack side of it. Going to be a little bit of a dedication towards the vertical here. Buck going to be using those can openers as they're only going to have one real source to start opening that up outside of the Selma charges, but going to opt for a little bit of a view instead of getting him down below for verticality, which could, I mean, is an interesting strat, but could maybe be utilized a little bit better, right? Buck to suss these people out of their locations, but a C4 gonna
A
rip two
double.
off the board.
Oh,
Jeez.
wow. Huge, huge play there for the team Asgard. Well, they were looking for a little bit of a boost to start this defensive half off, and they certainly pulled it off there. A triple from Tom J with that C4 in hand and then doing it with his gun as well. They're completely shutting this team down and forcing Valor to rotate back outside down to the basement to make the push up. They're outside the building and now just barely pushing up yellow with a minute 33 and two players left. Very little utility. All they've got is one of those ash charges left, and I don't know how much good that's going to be able to do because they got to work much harder at dealing with the opponents and the players than their utility.
And missed opportunity there too as they're holding on to the top spiral. He gets sussed out, but they're going to go ahead and find the kill. Now puts us into a 3-2, a C4 to ring out, but nobody close enough to take the damage, but does give away the location back towards the side. It's the slow creep up, looking for a quick swing, a potential on the seat on the shotgun. He's going to find it. Does get answered back, is now into a 1v2, 57 on the board. It's going to be the scenic route towards the spiral to try to recoup the losses here, holding on to the long angle through sight from the bathroom window. If he can catch one on the rotate, right, preferably the bandit, it put itself in a good situation to potentially take this fight on with the warden, but has to go pick up the diffuser as the clock starts to tick down. Whiskey, 35 seconds left. He's spotted out. They know exactly where he's at, so they can just hold on to the cross. One in secretary, one in meeting. It's a tough spot to find. Here's going for the swing. Warden going to be able to find himself in that.
That's just another a 4K there from Tom coming out. What an incredible round from him. So good for this team Asgard to set up on defense like that, getting the huge C4 to start it off and then managing to shut it down. Gotta say, LDL Valor got a little bit closer than I was expecting in terms of that having a 2v4 and getting it all the way down to a 2v1 at that point. But surprising that they were able to hold on and do as well as they did just shows how good this Valor team is if they can hold on, if they can keep themselves alive. Team Asgard is going to have to be very careful the way they approach these last couple rounds. 5-2 currently as we're sitting, and now we get to see the basement as well for the second time, this time with Asgard holding the defense.
Yeah, and one of the hallmarks of this team that's been together for so long, right? The communication is there. The buddy system is in place. So yes, there's three of your members are dead, but three of your members have jumped onto those flank cams that you have put out. That any sort of cams that you've stolen, if you've got the Dokkaebi out, any sort of utility that you can use to help out the team. And if they can wait and they can play onto the flank, then you know what? A couple of kills brings it a little bit closer, and that storyline starts to change. 5-2, you said it. We sit. Defense going downstairs. Vigil going to be back on the board as Tom, who was the hero of the last round, going to be bringing out that Boss G, baby.
Boss G. So from Tom's perspective, boy, where was he sitting at from an entry perspective? 16 and 10, not nearly as good as Madari, but 16 is 10, certainly respectable. And like you said, the hero from the last round, the 4K. and those were his first 4 where he got active when he absolutely needed to, so coming alive on defense, not playing out the Warden though, gonna play like you said, at the Vigil this time around. Love to see it when a player gets active. The thing is, Asgard can't rely on the individual heroics. Gotta be careful here against this very good LDL Valor team. Like the combination of the Ram and the Deimos on the attacking side, though. A little bit of soft destruction gone awry, plus the Deimos who can take those shots through the floor. But Tom going crazy again.
Yeah, we can see why Asgard picked this map, right? They've got all of these little sussed out hidey places, finds themselves two, give themselves the body balance, and now find themselves in a pretty good position. It's starting to get a little bit closer at tying this one back up here and making a miss. That's the big problem, right? You've got members spread out on the second floor, three of them, no in between, which means verticality to be had from the bottom and the top. You talked about it. We've talked about that before. A little club sandwich play that really just results in a death trap for anybody trying to take that vertical space. You force them to go upstairs to the second floor to try to suss you out, and if they fail, they have to redirect, which is what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, that's right. You said it. They had 2 upstairs, and all right, Madari gonna find one on those stairs coming down. So yeah, you've got everybody now almost bunkered back down with the exception of Legion, and he's making his way down because that's the main breach open from this attack. And now they need to have everybody downstairs to put the pressure on.
Yep, C4 rings out. Not going to need is the Vector going to take Uncert off the board. Now back into a familiar situation. 40 seconds left and a 4v2. And they're spread out, right? One on the yellow side of it, one on the spiral. So going to have to find some individual kills here for sure. Legion, a couple of goos let down on the stairs. It's going to allow them to rotate. The spiral goes, takes up another look, but back down, puts pressure onto the backside. There's a Goyle canister to go off and stymie the rest of that push that starts to happen. Is going to find one, however. We're going to see
Wow.
yeah, we're gonna see Legion taken off the board and a little bit of damage done onto the Ram as they force their Getch to push through and give Matt another one. Give Matt a triple now as he's incredibly motivated here, but it's 3 seconds left. The diffuser is in hand. He gets in, starts to get to the plant, but it's going to be the shot from the backside. Mad to find another.
Yeah, that was an incredible run there for the LDL Valor, and love the distraction that Ram had set up, right? You saw that she put her gadget down in the hallway close to the spiral stairs and waited until she rotated it back around towards the mirror on the kitchen window before activating it to try and just distract the team, pull their attention away from a second so that way Mira or any of the other defenders weren't looking through that window to make the push up. That significant parts of piece of misdirection there that was able to get this LDL Valor team another win and put them on match point 6-2. And now Asgard, they've got their work cut out for them. They've got to be perfect for 4, even though it is their map pick. Perfect for 4 in a map that they really have not been able to get any momentum going or find their footing.
Yeah, tough. It's a tough situation to find yourself in. We already talked about the David v. Goliath scenario that it was coming up against this established team, having to make a name for yourself and cut your teeth on what was already going to be a tough game, but losing your map pick. That's going to, of course, put you in the category of mental chalk going in map two. You'll have to have some serious addressing when you get back into it. A nice timeout. So 6-2, perfect for 4, not completely unattainable, right, Whiskey? This is definitely something we can see happen. It's the defense. They just got to find those opening picks again, and this time find the impact afterwards, right? What happens after you get that initial kill?
Right, convert those picks into round wins. We're seeing Asgard take a much more of a roam heavy defense from a spread out perspective, right? You still have got 2 upstairs on the 2F already, with 3 downstairs holding those anchor positions. So they're leaning into it, causing Team Valor to have to work upstairs. You can see the drones, you can see the time waste, but you said it. They've got to get the opening picks in those second floor engagements to try and keep it off. And that is huge. The Ram going down, her distraction now missing, but I love this use of the Deimos upstairs on the roof. He is fully protected, able to identify the defenders, ping their locations out, communicate that to the team, all from complete safety on the roof of the building.
Yeah, huge pick though, right? Not only did you take the ram off the board and stop some of it, half of that vertical play that was going down, but you took down the top frag, right? And that is a huge position to find yourself in now. Starting to secure some more floor up here onto the top. That's going to be ready and willing.
Wow,
Tom is going to find that kill.
just
Dogabee's off the
lack
board,
of
and that's that
info.
intel again. Yeah, and a lack of intel from a Dogabee. Hello,
Wow. Yeah,
Tom J.
there's no way they should have just walked right in past the bathroom door, not knowing that Tom was up there. I thought they had some intel that the vigil was playing up on the second floor. He was on drone. There was no reason for them to not spend a little bit more time working on. He still had more than a minute and a half left in this round before that happened. So yeah, 2v4 scenario was a 2v5 right up until the last second. So a minute left. Now down to Deimos and the Thermite. He's got two of those of his exothermics in place. They have some utility to try and make this happen, but it's a very spread out defense they have to go hunting for.
Yeah, and that's the big price, right? Is you have to get them all individually. Two on the first, two on the basement. It's going to start to see some interaction here. Is Thermite taking up some space here up on the first floor? Open a couple of those uh, those crossover angles. Catch somebody rotating back down to sight, and the shot's down yellow, putting a little pressure onto the mirror. But they're safe. They're secure. It's really just the bait, right? Draw them down yellow stairs to be able to find a little bit closer on that body balance. And you're going to see that first engagement. It's starting to come back right now. Vigil and Piano. You can see the Damo start to put the pressure on, but Vigil just going to find themselves
Wow.
better. Put them on a triple kill. One more for a little quad piece, and they're still not to be denied here. And you know what? Jesus, they're going to find it easy.
If Asgard going to win that, not going to be the quad there for Tom J, but I mean, I think a 3K is certainly enough to help his team push to that point. So, going to continue on match point. LDL Valor still has got three more opportunities to try and put this thing away, and three more opportunities for Team Asgard to hold on and force OT. Now, this is not because we're in the first game in the double elimination bracket here for the ESA playoffs. No unlimited overtime because it's not an elimination game. The team that loses starts their run in the lower bracket. The winner moves on. So, no need to worry about unlimited overtime at this point. So, they don't have those extra opportunities. They get there, got to get it done in three. So, this is it. All the pressure on Team Asgard to start off here. LDL looking very good though.
Yeah. So, got to be perfect for it. You get one on the board. How to eat an elephant one step at a time, one more round. And that's exactly what they've guaranteed themselves. So, back up to the second floor. They're going to try the similar strat again, right? Take away that intel with the mute on the board. Make sure that you can't get anything quick with those Goyo canisters. And of course, that vector has just been absolutely devastating. This time, little less dedication to the roam game, more for the extension Whiskies. They're going to stay on the second floor. Nobody down below to play spoiler.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, you said it. For me, they've got the mute playing downstairs on the first floor. He has got the C4 in place. We have not seen a ton of that happen. Tom, like we said, got that huge C4 with two. Other than that, not this has not been sort of a favorite defensive gadget that we've seen between these two teams. But if Mute, oh no, he's moved back up to the second floor at this point, so no one downstairs to sort of divert or put any pressure on this team. It's interesting. They were heavy, heavy on the roam on the basement sites, but on the 2F, they've decided to focus on continuing to hold. I like the fact that LDL Valor here is using the buck to try to put some vertical pressure. It's such an important part of Siege. I like that they're choosing to use it.
Yeah, but look, he's the only one inside. Currently, everybody else outside of the map. Now, starting to get inside for that admin overtake, the classic that is the take here for 2F. And you do get Nomad now down to help support the buck, help support that verticality, help put those people out of those critical push point positions. And starting to get a little bit more action. Uncert comes in, takes Tom off the board, now puts the body balance into the hands of LDL as Buck's still trying to get active from below, chasing these people out of those critical spots. Everybody outside of Ace now inside the building finally at a minute and 22.
Yeah, they've got time, and Buck, look at that from a from From his gadget perspective, he has only got 3 shots left in the skeleton key. That's an incredible amount of vertical damage that he has done to the floor in this building, so that's a lot of space that's opened up there for the attackers to see from down below, so he's the only guy looking, taking shots, and that's it. The skeleton key empty. Boy, that's not something you see very often with Buck, but Zach is he's leaned into it, made that his mission to open up this floor, but right now it's not netting his team a lot of space. They still have not made this the push past the vending hallway into sight. Yeah, they've used up some of the utility there, but right now it's looking very much like LDL Valor is getting stalled out.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. So the push-up spiral is going to make the Vector be able to find one. You know what? Give Matt another kill. Takes us into a 3-2 situation, but it's low health for Ace. He's on 1 HP. Now, it's a one-shot headshot game, so he could still be an impactful player, but the likelihood here is that he's going to get taken off. And there's a shot. This is going to take Matt off the board, and Ace going to be the last alive. He does find a shot. Some body shots, however. It looks to take a second, but it doesn't need very much to get it done. Defense going to find themselves around.
All right, so they have won 3 of the last 4 rounds, putting us to a 6-4 score line here, and, we're continuing to see LDL Valor hold on to their match point and not able to close this thing out now for gonna be the 3rd time in a row. What we really saw Valor sort of stall out there in the mid round. It talked about it. They were able to get one, but right now they're not doing a great job of clearing off the defensive utility. Right, those Goyo canisters still holding on with like 34 seconds left. Fire was burning. I'd love to see maybe the Twitch here, which at least LDL Valor is showing to try and clear out some of that. Get rid of some of that defensive utility earlier, so that way they're not as focused on getting stalled out and giving the defense time to sort of reposition themselves around it. So with this combination of defensive utility, the Goyos, the Legions, the Fenrirs, the Malusis, there is a ton of utility here that's going to slow this attacking team down. And right now, that seems to be working for Team Asgard.
Yeah, it's good adaptation. Yeah, Twitch or the Flores to come in. There's a ton of util to get off the board. In fact, everybody outside of the Vigil bringing something along that's going to force you to slow down. We could call this a pace setting round here. Malusi, Fenrir, Legion, and Goyo all going to be members designed to make sure that whatever you're trying to do, it's going to be absolutely slow. Brava getting in, going to get some quick work. You can already see there's a Fenrir gadget and a Malusi, 2 Malusis already taken off the board. So a huge bit of work put in by that clutch drone.
I love that they're doing exactly what we talked about rolling into this round, which was immediately starting off clearing defensive utility 30 seconds in, and they've worked on getting rid of a ton of it here to start. That's fantastic. And I think that is going to be one of the help that this LDL Valor team needs to try and close this out. So if you're an Asgard fan, you're looking for them to make the adaptations and win some of these gunfights now that they're not going to be able to rely as much on that utility. They certainly have, but some of those wins coming off the back of Tom Jay's incredible individual heroics. Not going to be able to do it by himself, though. And Madari, yep, already getting another opening pick. You're just adding to that total. That stat line is going to be insane by the end of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So Legion off the board, the body balance in the hands of LDL as they look to try to solidify their map #1. Couldn't get all the gadgets though. There's a goo in the shoe. It's going to slow them down, but just a tad as the march up yellow still commences here. That Vector just being absolutely devastating. Looks to find one off the bathroom window. Nobody there to try to take that on. And oh, geez, some siege timing doesn't allow him to get that kill there. Does take a second look and the push up to the top of yellow. It's going to be a miss.
Oh, it's a
Now he
miss.
doesn't know what he's behind him, but he's going to get taken off the board. Give Matt a triple kill now, on pace for the ace, trying to solidify these last 2, one upstairs and one down below. That's going to be, we're going to see, Jesus, who was a Malusi taken off the board now, all onto the shoulders of Fenrir in this 1v5. Got to put yourself in a pretty good position. Does find one shot, goes for the pivot, but not going to be in the right spot.
Lunar gonna get it through the floor, taking out the upstairs, and that is a victory there for the LDL Valor team. It's 7-4 victory for them, and What a round it was. Even though they started off with 3 to start for free, Team Asgard did a great job of trying to put something special together. Wasn't quite enough though, and Asgard goes down after off the back of that 3-0 start from being late to start the match. What an unfortunate way to start it. So, next opportunity though, Border coming up, my friend.
Yeah, man, could have. It's the I wonder what if scenario, right? Because they
Mhm.
were looking good. This is their map pick. They seem to be firing. They're functioning together as a team, and instead, their map pick goes down, puts them in the bin for coming up for map number two. It's border. It's quick. It's in your face, and it's going to be right back. Sit back, relax, because when we come back, we're going to bring you the second map. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. If you're just joining us, well, welcome. We're happy to have you here. Map one is over and done, and now we head to the aggressive map that is Border, baby. I'm still the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, my partner and co host, Mr. Whiskey Run. Say hello, Whiskey.
Welcome everyone to the ESA Cup Season 9. We said it's the first game of the playoffs happening right here between these two great teams. That first map had a little bit of a rocky start with unfortunately one of the teams going down 3 rounds due to the rules. So we didn't really get to see the full map. This time though on Border, we're going to get to see it both starting at 0 for the full experience here on Border. And you said it as we closed out that previous one. Border is going to be and always is fast paced, lots of soft breach, lots of entry potential, and a ton of space that can be taken up very quickly, but also defenses that can surge. So, very much looking forward to this one going in. Border statistically in the ESA, very much 50-50, 51 to 49% back and forth. So, typical attacker sided in the PC world, little bit more even here on console.
Excellent. Well, put a little bit of a fight together here then. So, first ban, let's get the story. How is it going to play out? It doesn't matter whether you play console, PC, UNA, Monty, just going to be not allowed to play whiskey. Just get him off the board.
Yeah, he's got a 62% ban rate here in the ESA, which matches nearly every other league we've had a chance to participate in. I think we saw him 100% of the games we cast in Element 4 this past weekend was a Monty ban, so not definitely not surprising to see him. The Nook again, that is 2 maps in a row that we've seen Asgard ban Nook, and I would agree. It's interesting, it's surprising. It doesn't really fit with sort of the meta that we've seen, not even in ESA. That's only the 4th time that she's been banned, and I'm wondering whether or not the other 2 were Asgard as well.
Yeah, that would be the big question, right? Is it a target ban or do you just not like to play with it? That's the big $1 million question. Yes, got a gadget buff, right? Got the gun recoil buff, so definitely is more of a viable operator, especially if you're if you're not expecting any sort of play. So, unfortunate though, I know you guys all saw it up in the top right hand corner of the screen. There was a dropout. So, like we say all the time, it wouldn't be live siege without a live issue. So, we're going to give a quick tech pause. And when we come back, it's going to be the stunning conclusion to the second map. AO.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. It's time. Map number two. Look for the aggression that only Border can bring to the table. I'm excited for it, Whiskey. And you know what else I'm excited for? Is I'm excited to see what Mad's going to do on Border, right? Extremely excellent entry ability. Border lends itself to that specifically.
Yeah, that's right. So is the entry stat going to continue to climb? I think almost certainly the answer is going to be yes. This time, though, Lunar bringing out the Vigil. We've seen Vigil banned quite a few times as well as part of the ESA. Seems like team's not a big fan of the Vigil, but on this map, going to be available and starting on the standard, right? I think Armory Archives. I've never seen a team start anywhere else on defense here on Border.
Yeah, it's the standard. It's the go-to. It's the comfort blanket, right? It's where you should get your first win unless the other team is ridiculous and maybe not just ridiculous. It's border. They could find the win on 2F very easily. First floor's kind of being where that win phase comes from. We see teams live and die by the ego check on 2F.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Live and die by the ego check. That's right. And you check this out. I mean, that looks like that wall's not reinforced at all. They're setting up for the Ram, the Brava, easy entry in. I don't know what exactly LDL Valor was thinking here, but they have left the B side basically completely open.
You, you don't even need a B side, right? You don't even need it.
Protect
Just
the
gonna let
Bravo
them walk in.
location.
There's a C4. It's gonna stay safe. Drop down to the prone position where they'll
Wow!
find it. A couple of trades to go back and forth. Now into a 3-3. 2 minutes still on the board, so plenty of time, and they've got it spread out. Malusi gonna find their life forfeit. And now takes it into a 3-2. Back towards looking
Attackers
towards the
recovered the bomb.
break room. Finally getting onto the balcony to even put some pressure onto it. Diffuser is in hand, so we can potentially see it start to go. But look at that. That's gonna be a defender down in the hallway, and this quick entry into sight has netted Asgard a very profitable and comfortable situation to try to find a plant. And there it is. It starts to go down.
Yeah, plants starting to go down all up to Azami. She was banned out in the previous maps, or in general, she has been banned out a significant amount for border, but left alive here, giving her some of this extra cover. Seeing this shot, unfortunately not taking it, and a little bit of siege timing. She might get one or two, but from this map just completely fell apart very early. The Azami was holding on to break, and it looked like they kept the strategy of leave the breach unreinforced, leave the office walls unreinforced, so that way you had players that were holding the 90 hallway, holding the archive side, could be firing through all the soft walls, and then Azami on the break side be able to cover the breach and anyone walking up to it. But whatever distraction had happened from the attackers that pulled Azami away
Attackers need
allowed
to
both
locate and
Ram
defuse
and the
bomb.
Brava to walk right up to site, gain control of B, and then never let it go at that point. Azami was trapped at that point and used some of those soft walls against her. So it looked like it was a good strategy, maybe to start with, sort of leaving B the armory side open, but for the break room to fall apart so quickly and not provide any of that cover, Azami should have been there. There's no way they should have been able to walk right up to that door and get that real estate on B so quickly.
Yeah, well, and you called it a
10 seconds
strat, and
left
I'm going to
before
call it
insertion.
a lack of because that was just completely unprepared by LDL.
5
Yeah,
seconds left
sure, if
before
you're going to
insertion.
leave it unbreached, get yourself some head holes, right? If you're going to leave the
Attackers are
office
moving out to locate a bomb
unreinforced,
and
get
defuse it.
yourself some sort of head holes, foot holes, something that's going to allow you blindly firing through the wall, trying to catch a kill on a hope and a dream is never going to be a strat that works in Rainbow Siege, and they paid the price for it on that one. So you can see it set up a little bit differently this time, right? Go with the half breach instead. They do open up some head holes, give themselves a little bit more room to work this time. Still put that dedication into holding security because it's important, right? It's the reason you see Azami and Doc over there. But this time, we got to allow them to have that pressure to stop the march in straight through B.
And look at this almost mistake as well. I mean, the combination of using the mute jammer to try to prevent entry in from the door, but then having the half breach open to the point where the drones could hop right in. Brava clearly able to steal that. And again, you've got the Azami playing security, holding on to that area, but
Drop the diffuser.
it seems, I was going to say a little bit too little, too late. But Doc supporting, able to claim one of those kills. So at least maybe they backed it up with 2 players, and you can see Sentry also still playing an Armory this time, a little bit of a different approach, and I like the way that LDL Valor's adapted here.
Yeah, well, it slowed it down a little bit, and that's the whole point, right? They still left it quite
Attackers have
open,
recovered the
right?
diffuser.
Fountain, security, main, and armory. There's really not much support to be had there. Now, Azami does take a couple of shots in from security. The body balance does tip into the favor of Asgard yet again as they find Mute and Goyo taken off the board. And here's what they needed, right? Sentry coming up to make an active play here, to be the person to put that pressure on. It's a triple
Bomb
kill from the
diffuser has
backside.
been
They're going to
dropped.
take it and now puts
Wow.
us into a 2-2. This is a much better situation defensively, even though they're still getting to this too late in the setup, right? Now it's quad kill. Geez, on pace for the ace. One more to give him the attacking ace here on border, and it just gets worse and worse for LDL up here on the 2F location. So here we go. 1v1, the showdown. 48 to get it done. Sees him, takes a quick pre-fire, nothing there. Looking towards the office, potentially towards Fountain, rotate back around. Oh man, he keeps playing peekaboo with just about the wrong area, but coming up on the slow. He's a predator. Oh, he sees him, runs right past. It's a pre-fire, but doesn't amount to anything. 17 and 13, they both sit. 20 seconds left. Give him the headshot.
No way.
Barely pulled it out, barely hang on to a win up here on 2F. And if I was LDL, I'm not heading back up to the top.
I mean, you're right. They're able to find the defense finds the win. There is no way that I think Azami should have won that engagement there. She was the one that was lower health.
User
You
has
had
been joined.
Senzo, had more health, had the had the faster weapon, the F2. Should have been the guy to win this fight, but approaching it, crouch walking, and Zach is the one that takes him down. So, yeah, you're right. Can't go back to the 2F site now. This time you're gonna play the downstairs, the vent workshop as the alternative. Means they're gonna have at least I hope, a presence upstairs on the 2F site as well, trying to lock this space down because there's tons of vertical, tons of breachable space. And with the combination of the Ram and Buck being so good at that lately, see Tom showing that Ram out initially. So I like the
10
Pulse
seconds
play
remaining.
though. I know you talk about Pulse all the time and how good he is on border.
Yeah,
5
it's
seconds
one of
left.
like the big factors for Border is Pulse playing in that
Attackers are
customs
moving out to
area,
locate a
right?
bomb and
Able to
defuse it.
deny that security presence, able to deny that break room presence, while still putting a pressure on that main door. You can really just hold a ton of avenues, and if they don't specifically get taken out by the C4, it's the intel for days, and that's what this game is, right? Intel and opportunity. Pulse is one who creates those opportunities really well, and you're right, they can't go back up to the 2F because they did win it. What I'm saying is when the round rotate is over, I don't choose that as my next spot if I'm LDL. They should not have won that round.
Yeah, that 1v1 at the end to come down to it, that being the last space. So, one of the things that we talked about a lot during that previous map on Consulate was the sort of lack of dealing with the defensive utility. That was more on the side of the Asgard team struggling with clearing it out. So, but then the round after, they did a great job of it. These teams are not being consistent in how they're managing the utility back and forth. It feels a little bit chaotic right now, so we'd love to see both of these teams, in this case right now, the Asgard team on attack, work on clearing that maybe a little bit more methodically. Twitch is on that drone working on clearing it as we speak. So minute 42, lots of time left as they work on opening up this space, trying to gain control in 2F right above the site.
Yeah, is exactly what you want to see out of Asgard here. Take this space up there. There's only a few players actually playing up there, two of them to be specific. There's one off the board as the F2 is going to find it. Legion the first to fall. So that puts the pressure of holding on to that verticality onto Vigil. As Mute goes down below, that means the pressure is split. You can now start opening up that top area because there's only one with the C4. It is going to be Pulse, and you know that he was last seen towards that customs area. And that's where the Twitch is starting to look for him, but it's going to be the rotate around. He's coming up to the top metal. He's going to play spoiler here. And if he goes unchecked, well, he won't. I was going to say, if he did go unchecked, he has the potential play. But now Asgard looking on attack, looking really freaking solid. Oh, Boss G, that's one of the big problems, right? What are you going to do when your second shot's done? Well, in this case, you die. Goyo the last alive, and they're going to find this one flawlessly.
Great round there from Team Asgard coming out to win round 3 on the vent, and very little of the action actually happening on the bomb site. You talked about it. Tons of stuff happening upstairs. The miss from the Boss G just a second too late. Boy, it looks terrible in slow-mo. And you said it takes the second shot, but as the attacker rounds the corner with the barrel in your face, Vigil had nothing to be able to try and counter
Defenders,
that.
protect
So
your bombs and
definitely
defuse the nearby
unfortunate. Pulse had
attackers.
used up his C4 down below, tries to make his way up metal, but again, Ash had that 90 hallway covered, expecting somebody to make the rotate back up if they didn't have any C4s in play. So the Legion going down early, the loss of control upstairs, that was going to be an attacker win. So LDL Valor's got to do something to change this strategy up here and win. Now, if they were expecting it to be sort of attacker sided, starting on defense, maybe this is what they were going for. But it seems like
10 seconds
we're
remaining.
starting off a little slow for LDL Valor.
Yeah.
5 seconds to
Yeah,
go.
I agree with you 100%. So, okay, what do? You switch it up.
Attackers
A
are
little
moving
bit of
out. Locate a
adaptation.
bomb and
They're going to
defuse
lean
it.
into some of that intel, but this time instead of bringing out the pulse, they're going to go with the echo. I like this call if you're thinking maybe a shield's coming to the table. Definitely going to help you deny plant if you're still alive in which to do so. But it's an interesting defensive lineup. Not very often do we get to see the architect make it through the ban phase for border, right? So the ability to redirect sight here and set up some of those angles that aren't necessarily expected or looked for can be absolutely huge. I'm looking for a zombie to play a little bit of the spoiler here. On the side of the attack, double up on the drones, Twitch to get rid of that util that you've been talking about all night, saying how vital and important it is to get it down. Well, bring out the Twitch to do it, and not doing too bad on that F2 as well.
Yeah, I mean, we know how difficult that gun is to control, especially with the loss of basically all of its grip attachments. No, making it much more difficult. I don't necessarily think that that gun needed that kind of a nerf to it, but boy, was that a one tap from Yoshiro, or did we just get treated to a little bit of a perfectly timed observer change there?
I think it was a
Four though.
perfect time.
Yeah, I mean, a minute 40 left. There's plenty of time left for both of these teams, but again, it's just feeling chaotic. I'm not feeling like we're seeing a well set up and defined execute here from the attacking team. Walking in, taking some shots and winning, and that'll carry you pretty far unless this LDL Valor team gets it together and starts shutting it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Pro strat, walk in, click heads, repeat, rinse, repeat. Yeah, I'm here for it. A couple of shots through, opening up this door to try to put some pressure in here off the West Balk area. Looking for it off the sandwich rappel. It's a 3-3. We still got 60 left on the board. They're getting plenty of intel and finding out exactly where the Azami is, and they're going to take shots. Doc's going to find their life forfeit, or not Doc Mute's going to find their life forfeit now into a 3-2, but it's a low health situation. Ace and IQ both reduced to just very low HP as they start to make the rotate around into the fountain area, put pressure from the backside, and
Bomb
potentially a
located by
zombie to play
attackers.
spoiler here. Now, they still have Echo. They are completely up top. This will force a retake scenario if they're allowed to get the bomb down. And that, of course, gives away the location of a zombie who's going to rotate around, start to put some pressure on from that metal area. There's going to be a shot. You get caught
Wow.
hacking and standing still. Ash going to find their life forfeit. Ace gone now as
15
well
seconds to
into
go.
a 2-1.
Attackers
13
recovered the
seconds
bomb.
left. Got to go for the
10
plant.
seconds
So
remaining.
a couple of smokes, hoping, praying, trying to figure out if this is going to be the way to do it. Pushing in, looking for it, swings. And the one we talked about needing to play spoiler gets the kill at the end.
Into the smoke a little bit late, a little bit of late toss there from the smoke started the plant before the smoke actually went off. So I think it's likely that the defense had a little bit of knowledge about which of the two smokes that went off he was trying to plant in the middle of. So definitely, I mean, well played there by the defense, holding on to the vertical. We talked about it so much as a part of Consulate, and one of the things that it seemed like LDO was
15 seconds.
struggling with. This time, though, they're on round four, round four on border. They showed up and showed that they can do that when they need to. So making it a little bit tougher for Asgard. Now We've seen this go back and forth, right? We've seen Asgard win on the 2F, LDL Valor answer back. Go to the first floor, Asgard win, LDL answer back. So it has been a back and forth on the two sites that we've seen. We're not going to see a bathroom tellers though and see how that one goes. Going to go back upstairs to the 2F for round 5.
10 seconds remaining.
Okay, bring out the Flores, get rid of some of that
5
extension
seconds remaining.
util. 2-2 on the tie-up. That feels a little bit better,
Attackers
right?
objective is
A
locate a
little bit
bomb and
more
defuse
of
it.
the action being brought straight to our faces. Um, what does become the win condition? Well, if you're looking at the side of Asgard, you're going to have to take down Yoshiro, right? 8-2, man, just having an incredible game, really just jumping up his entries in like an incredible amount. So he becomes the force to be reckoned point, the pivot point, if you will. Getting a lot of intel here is the IQ. Gonna suss out some of these gadgets, specifically looking for those yokais. Maybe steal one. I know that's one of your favorite parts there, Whiskey.
I love the Brava interaction. Such a great add of an operator to the game of Rainbow
A
Six
bomb has
Siege,
been
right?
located.
Not just taking it out like the Twitch drone, which is also a very cool mechanic, but the ability to steal, really love that. And like you said, stealing the Echo drone, that is definitely one of my favorites. But so you can see this. We talked about them needing to clear out defensive utility early. We're still 2 minutes left in this round. A ton of defensive utility gone. Popping Goyo canisters, clearing out gadgets, stealing them when necessary. Right now, looking like Asgard doing what they need to, but Zach, 7-2-2, carrying this team right now and cannot be stopped. Looking very good. Going to be somebody I know. Yoshiro on the other side. That opening, he's down and dead. Gonna have to do the same thing on the LDL Valor side and take care of Zach.
Yeah, but let's look at it again. 2 in security, 1 in armory, 1 in offices. I mean, we're sitting set up with nothing towards B yet again. So could be, I mean, a potential for the mistake, right? Security goes down. Now you're relying on the dock to hold it, but that stem going to get a zombie back up again. So back into a 4-4 situation, even though they think they got him down, the rotate around into 90. They're going to give security up. They're going to reinforce onto 92. This late round barricade could be the difference maker here. All of a sudden, you've gained a ton of site control back up. Archives, fountain, armory, and office all set up. Now you're going to force them to come in through some of those more traditional ways, right? Going to have to get in through the doorways. Clutch going to take a look inside and see the new site setup that they have to deal with. Nothing really to steal as you're just trying to get in and out and get some of that intel. A couple of pre-fires from the fountain area. He's going to take that Selma to open it up. Vector to find one off the board. Now into a 4-3, a 4-2. As that Vector going to find a zombie getting active on the backside of it, and that's going to be Mad taken down. It's a 3v1. Ace, the last alive, trying to make the push in here from 90. Takes a couple of shots, knows he's there. Nobody there and ducks down, so he doesn't have to respond. New position, up onto the doorway. Going to find that kill very easy.
Wow. Shot to the face. That's one of the things I love about this game. Sometimes strategy, sometimes tactics come in and are the most important part of the game, and sometimes just great mechanical skill is the difference maker. And love when you get a chance to see that. So we said LDL had been going back and forth. Now that they learned the strategy that Asgard was going to play, attacking the 2F, they've been able to counter it successfully twice.
Attackers need to
So we
locate
said
and
we hadn't
defuse
gotten
the
a
remaining
chance to see
bombs
the
if they can.
bathroom. Now is the first time, first floor for the final defensive site here for the LDL Valor team. And I like this combination of, a little bit of trap with the Legion and Goyo and the extra intel. They had been using the Echo fairly successfully. So also would love to see Asgard maybe lean into the Brava too, try and steal that utility. But as an alternative, keeping the IQ to identify where all of them are is also a great strat, but look for them to have a ton of presence upstairs
10
as
seconds to
well. Is
go.
that where it seems to be most of the time the fights all taking place away from
5
sight
seconds
here on
left
border?
before insertion.
Okay, one more round. One
Attackers
more round
objective is
before
to
we get
locate a
ourselves
bomb and
into the
defuse it.
op swap. The pressure does start to mount up here if you're Asgard, right? If we call it an attacker sided map. And now You talked about it being what 50-50 just about. So I guess a 4-2 standard split would not completely rock my mind here. But if you're Asgard going into what I would say is an attacker sided map on your defense, this next round very important for them to win, or it could see the map or three maps over and done in two. That's a good way to start it out. However, take the vigil off the board.
Yeah, especially with Mad having that insane entry kill stat, so that's going to be one in the negative column for him. But certainly continues to still be positive on entries here. But you said it, an important win condition to be able to take him out. But Zach's still that kill leader. Uncert looking to get a little bit more active here on the defense. And you still have got Tom J, really one of the heroes of that previous map on Consulate. Tom needs to get active as
Bomb
well, 1
located by
and 3
attackers.
sitting at this point, and playing the Ash on entry.
Oh man, tough place to find yourself. Heroes of the last maps lacking in the next. It can be that sometimes they just have those specifics. That's going to be a double. Now puts ourselves Echo, the last alive, is inside, coming around towards the windows, looking active. A pre-fire almost nets him a kill, but instead just gives away the location. Looking for the hatch drop potentially as they move in towards the rotate. Surrounded, a pack of hyenas. He finds one, pivots around, finds the double,
What?
but not enough. Verticality playing in it. He was on the pivot. He found the points. He just couldn't find it from above.
Yeah, putting it all on him to try and clutch up a 1v4 scenario. They didn't need to get into that kind of a situation in the first place. So it's unfortunate from an LDL Valor standpoint that you let your team get into that spot. But, we talked about like a little bit slow start there from some of the team members of Asgard, but from a round perspective,
Defender,
they put it
protect
up
your bombs from being
3-3. We
recovered by
talked about
attackers.
this map being 50-50 here in the console scene, specifically in the ESA. So I'm not surprised to see the 3-3 come out. Right now, very evenly matched back and forth, but it followed the trend that we saw. Every time LDL went to a new site, Asgard won it first,
Attackers have
and
located a
then
bomb.
LDA was able to answer back and win. So in this case, the first time we saw Bathroom, Asgard picks up the win. It almost makes me think they needed to pick Vent Workshop again as the alternative.
10
But
seconds left
because
till
they had won
victory.
two in a row, Vent and 2F, they had to pick one of the other sites.
5 seconds
And
remaining.
if you had to go customs and supply or bathroom tellers, that was the
Attackers are
right
heading out
choice,
to
I think,
defuse a
over
bomb.
customs. But still, following that pattern, looking like Asgard was going to win it, they pulled it off. So side swap opportunity here for LDL Valor to show what they've got on the attacking side of border. You say it, PC and NA, definitely attacker friendly. A little bit more evenly matched here on the console scene in EU.
You know what? I agree with everything that you said, except for, and you know what I'm going to say. I think we need some customs, bro. Send it, dude. If you can get a working version of that map, nobody's ready for it. And if you execute it well and you don't give it away during your scrims, then you know what? Maybe it plays the spoiler. I want more customs. Yes, it's a dog site, but whatever. Let's try it anyways. First kill is going to be that Vector getting active again, Whiskey. It's been all night long. Vector's finding the kills, and this time it's going to take Mad off the board. And that, I feel like I cast or cursed him at the beginning, saying that this was going to be a map that he was going to do really well on, specifically because of his entry. Well, he loses his life. Chalk it up for a Vector to find
A
another. But
kill from
Deimos,
below.
let's get some verticality here. He said, hey, I hear you. A little bit of a peekaboo, and he finds himself one, and that's one closer to getting this body balance shored up.
Yeah, I mean it was part of Fresh's bingo card for the Montreal Major. Was there going to be a kill, a Deimos kill through the floor? And we have certainly seen quite a few of them. It is a very, very effective tool, right? If you're, if you're standing right below one of the attackers that you ping out, right? You can't see his ping on the board, right? Because it's below your feet. If Deimos is looking up and is prepared for it, I think that's one of the reasons it's so successful as a vertical tool is that as a defender, once you get pinged and you're looking for the Deimos ping to see where is he, who's coming for me, and it's right below you, you can't see that in the HUD. It's an interesting mechanic that right now I think the Deimos players are taking advantage of. So he's still on the board, still left alive, and still has 2 of those drones left with 45 seconds left. They have the opportunity to identify, locate, and attack 2 of the 3 defenders that are still here.
Okay, that's exactly what you
Drop
need to
the
do.
diffuser.
Identify, locate, and attack. And you know what? Then worked out in the other way. Two of them get identified, located, attacked, and dead. Now you see the Fenrir gadget go off and Elysian Goo to follow. Twitch, the last alive. They've got to get to the fountain area because the diffuser is, of course, down. Nobody has it in hand. So, going to have to take this 2v1. Don't feed it to them by themselves. So, you're going to, well, I was going to say you might regret it, but no, they're going to find that kill.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a distraction, right? Even if he had lost that particular gunfight, the other defender in a position to be able to clean it up with the distraction. So, well played on the defense side. We're going to see another defender win, this time upstairs on the 2F side, and that's Asgard pulling ahead, sort of maintained this lead, uh, a lead and answer back across the way that border here is played out. And again, if you're just joining us, we're in a best of 3 between these 2 teams in what is the very first game of the playoffs here in the ESA Cup Season 9. Asgard going down on Consulate, unfortunately losing to LDL Team Valor. And they want to answer back here on border to send us to Nighthaven as the decider.
I'm here for it. That's the map that I love. It's the map that I want in a best of three. It's what we want to get to. And I just would like to refer us to my earlier commentary and said that if maybe Asgard was around and didn't take that early loss on map number one, we could be looking at a whole different scenario right now. I mean, they are just playing
5 seconds
lights
left.
out siege, and it's not that Asgard necessarily is or that LDO
Attackers are
is
moving out.
necessarily
The
going
locator
out and
bomb is
losing these
defused.
rounds, but Whiskey, it's Asgard going and retaking, finding the gaps, finding the exploits, and just punishing LDL for some of those hubris peaks that we've been seeing. So 4-3, Asgard finds himself up, getting a pretty close to potentially sealing up LDL's map pick and take it to Nighthaven. That puts some momentum heavily and steadily in their favor.
On Nighthaven, completely different map than what we've seen here so far in, the combination of a consulate and border for right. We didn't get to see Clubhouse to see how that might work it. How might that change things up? So it's gonna not sure how that's gonna play into each of these teams' favors, other than we know that LDL Valor had been very good, but maybe the little bit of the long break slowed this down a little bit. Could be also just on this map pick, right? They're not feeling it today. A lot of times we talk about side statistics, we talk about team stats, and at the end of the day, it all comes down to how is your team feeling and can you hit your shots when you need to, when it matters most. We're still stacked up 5-4 with a little bit of an advantage to the attackers here. And oh, was that it was a
Scary.
huge
I
miss
think,
there by Legion.
yeah.
Thought he saw the attacker.
No, and instead gets forced out into the fountain area. Droned out, does find one, does find
No
two, but
way.
answered back as Deimos is going to find the kill. Now into a 3-3, minute and 26 left on the board, and a huge missed opportunity there. Unfortunate. So the Deimos ping goes out. He's going to reveal the location to the teammates. They're going to start to put some pressure on. Thermite's still outside. You still have two hard breachers ready to go if you are forced to start to open everything up. There's a minute left, so plenty of time for that mid-round adaptation here. Opening up, looking for that verticality that played so pivotal the last time, but it was from Asgard that played it so well. So we'll see if they're going to be able to find it. Deimos ping yet again, as you can see him going towards that metal stairs, going to the customs to put that pressure on it, and he's going to rotate around and take that battle on.
Playing from vertical. Last time we were seeing it from down below, but this time from above. Damos just taking shots through the floor, trying to find something, but the pressure's on the attack. 30 seconds left. I don't really feel like they've got themselves in a very cleanly a clean execute here. They're just still searching for the defenders, taking random shots from Damos up on the second floor on the other side of the map. This one right now, it's feeling very slow with 15. I don't know
15
if they
seconds to
can
go.
pull it off, my friend.
Yeah, I'd agree with you here. And nobody in sight, so it should be a free one here. It does get answered back as the trade comes around, looking towards the backside of it. Takes some shots off the head holes. The double kill that rings out puts us into a 1v1. A good old fashioned showdown. A Vector with 53 health and Thermite on the other side of it. And they're kind of holding off onto each other. It's a bit of a showdown. It's who's going to move first, who's going to break the sound, who's going to let them know. Looking towards the window, misses the shot, puts him down to 16 HP, and now forces a tough situation for Goyo because he's going to have to try to long arm it here. Not enough time to really start to get it done. They've got him going on. A pre-fire goes through, doesn't get the kill, 11 seconds. He's going to have to stick it here, or it's going to be goodbye. Dundada, he doesn't have enough time.
Oh, no,
Under
he
6
didn't do
seconds.
it!
No, there's no way
1
that he got
second.
this
1
right
second.
now.
No.
Oh my lord, I cannot believe he pulled that off.
No. When I was looking at that clock, it said 6.5. No way.
Sheesh.
I can't believe that. What a swing. All the red pings coming out. All right. I was going to say, we're going to see the replay on the time. No, we're going to see the replay of all the kills happening, which obviously was an important part of how we ended up in that situation. But I thought for sure that he did not start to defuse with enough time. Unbelievable.
Mind blown, bro. Mind blown. What did I tell you? It's the Cinderella story. It's what makes Siege worth watching. It's the David versus the Goliath, and David just threw a huge stone over at Goliath's direction here. So look at here it is. So down to the 6 seconds, 8-7 puts him down. He got started. He did. He got started at above 7. That's insane. What a W replay there, folks, as well. Shout out to production team who always does a fantastic job at running this stream. Oh, what a play. That one's going to be in the playbooks. That one's going to go down in history for a while. Okay, Whiskey.
2 minutes, 50
5-3.
seconds. Yeah, 5-3. Right now, it certainly feels like Asgard is firing on all cylinders. They are the team to beat. Surprising coming into this, too, right? This one was, I believe this was LDL Valour's map pick. They were coming in with the advantage in the games that they played, the overall rounds that they've win. The stats were on their side, and Asgard maybe peaking at the right time here, showing why they deserve to be the ones to stay in the upper brackets. Right now, I don't think we're seeing. It feels like LDL Valor struggling to answer back. Right, they're reacting to everything that is happening on the Asgard side, as opposed to driving forward here. And on the attacking, that's what they need to be doing.
A couple of shots ring out. Vigil and Legion going to get taken off the board, but the answer back happens, and Zach gets his life forfeit. Does put Castle down to 10, but Doc's there to bring him right back
There's
up.
the Doc again.
That's that full stim, baby, and he has made quite the appearance tonight in bringing them back into ship shape here. So they do find themselves down in the body balance, but only by 1, and time will start to play out into their favor.
Well, they're having to take down. That's what, 2 of the 4 castle barricades we've seen the defense take down as they're working on rotating back. I don't know whether or not there was a bit of a miscoordination or again just the attacking team doing a better job of managing. But no way he gets 2 off that.
Holy. And you know what's crazy is, of course, they're taking them down. You put castle barricades on the first floor. That's just never a place that they need to be. If you're holding the first floor and you're holding that verticality, they go up top. You force them to be taken down by the attacking team. So a bit of a misstep potentially. But it doesn't amount to a loss just yet. Now, they do get a drone inside. They do suss them out below the bathroom. So back onto the hatch plays. They start to move around, putting the pressure on. That's a triple kill that now rings out as the body bounce does tip in the favor of nobody. A second one rings out, finds it from above. The vertical down the east stairs, dropping onto the hatch, finds one. They're looking to secure up another round. A match point scenario looking in their favor, and 25 to do so. Call it magic, call it a miracle, baby. We're on a match point scenario.
That's 4 rounds in a row for Asgard on they've now won every single site with the exception of custom since we haven't seen it yet, but even on the back of a lunar 4K, right? He's at 9 kills and 4 of them coming in this round, but that hatch drop with the diffuser, that was the difference maker. No opportunity for Team LDL to try and come back from that with so little time and the diffuser
Defenders
sitting
protect
there.
your
I've
bombs.
just
Being defused
maybe a
by
bit of
attackers.
misthrown, lack of intel there for where I thought they knew that someone was playing in bathroom, but the drop right on top of the waiting arms of the defense, that's how you lose. And I'm not surprised we're seeing Asgard on match point.
Yeah, no kidding. It's the Nanos buff, right? 'Cause he's the one that picked them to win it. The Nanos buff in full effect here, Whiskey. Write that down for our rank strat.
I mean, yeah, nearly every member of the production staff picking LDL Valor to win. There's a few lone exceptions, like you said. It's so
10
the
seconds left
Nanos buff
before
coming in
insertion.
strong.
Okay,
5
match
seconds
point
to go.
scenario. Asgard looking real good. Bringing out the defense. They're
Attackers are
going to
moving out
lean
to
into
locate a
some of
bomb
that
and defuse it.
slowdown, right? Uh, Frost to make sure that the window jumps coming in, some of those cheeky spots where you might not be looking when your gun is ADS to try to catch somebody slipping. Now it's no longer the death sentence that it used to be. You could get up from it, of course, but more often than not, we're looking at falling into a frost trap. Probably going to be some sort of death that follows that. Goyle canister is going to start ringing out here and slowing them down, but they got the twitch in. This is what you called out need to happen. Get rid of some of that util quickly.
Clearing out the util 220. Lots of time left, and I feel like we're seeing a little bit more droning happening here from the attacking team than we had seen previously. Right now, we talked a lot about in Consulate that all the pressure was on Asgard. This time, completely reversed. Obviously, LDL Valor in a 3-6 kind of a scenario. Uh, Tons of pressure on this team. They're the favorites to win it. Most of the production staff picking them to win it, like you talked about, and leaning into this vertical
Mm.
from Deimos, they've had a couple moments of brilliance. They've had a couple spots where, right, like the Lunar 4K we talked about from the previous round, some great Deimos play from down below, but for not converting a couple of these instances into round wins, not taking those
A
little
bomb has been
advantages they're
located.
gaining and winning, sort of falling apart by the time the mid round collapses, not
Ooh.
converting this. So, Matt, another one. Oh, that is another entry in his column. That's the first kill. Man, that man is just stacking them up. I know we didn't talk about that being the win conditions because Zach was the kill leader, but that certainly seems to be one of the important things that Asgard needs to do is take him off the board early, win that opening engagement.
Yeah, he doesn't like to kill unless it's entry. So now that you got that done, they're gonna find one
Defenders
on the
securing the cover.
backside. Is I did not. That was terrible timing. That was absolutely terrible timing. Matt, I'm sorry for that one. Yeah, you get Caster Court cursed off the board. Does put the body balance in favor of LDL even after that death. And it's a low health scenario for Frost on the other side of it as well. Just a bullet to probably take him off the board. Couple of shots pre-firing through that east balcony area, but they're going to make the rotate around instead. Zach to find Yash off the board now puts us into a 4v2. 33 left on the board. Give them a couple as they just go ahead and make the swing and get this one a little bit closer.
4-6 scoreline, another opportunity here on match point, but it's basically the same sort of setup we had. LDL was on match point 6-2 back on Consulate, and then it took 3 rounds for them to clean it up. In this case, Asgard, their second opportunity here to try and gain that match point advantage and win 7-4 to tie up that same score line we saw from Consulate, and it's going to be back on 2F. We saw this consistently in the first half of the
Defenders
game.
protect
You
your
saw
bombs.
one of the
Being
teams
defused by
defense
attackers.
go to a site, lose it, and then answer back immediately, winning the next time. So there's the opportunity for Asgard. They did win 2F back on round 7, so got the option. They know how to win on this site. Can they readapt against maybe a little bit? I don't want to say a surging LDL Valor team, but they won one when they needed to. That's an important momentum shift.
That can be absolutely. I guess this next round will be the actual tell-all. Did it make the difference, or does Asgard secure
10
a
seconds to
round
go.
and a map for themselves? Takes us on Nighthaven next, which I would be
5 seconds
really
left
excited
before
for.
insertion.
And if I'm an LDL fan, I'd be a little bit worried because of the
Commander's
similarities that can
objective is
play
to
out on
locate a bomb and
Nighthaven
defuse it.
and Border, and Asgard looking so good in that sort of area could be a bit of a tough point for LDL. Versus Goliath has him reduced down to the knees fighting at the moment. Two they have to be perfect for to bring this one back in. What does the defense bring out? A lot of same of what you've been seeing, right? Couple of trap ops to slow him down, some wall denial in the hands of the Cade. Still bring that area denial to make sure that you can't get anything quick going on through there, and then mute to take away that intel, which is so present and prevalent, especially that clutch on the board. Ooh, that's a terrible way to start. You don't want that. That clutch is now off the board. None of those gadgets going to be taken, although it was mostly going to be intel for it anyways. Okay, 2 minutes as it starts to count down. Take a second look here. Usually that first minute designed for the operators to be able to suss out where the defenders are, and he's going to get a good look from up
Look
top
at this
here.
drone.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Tons of intel there to the attacking team up above and just not recognize it on the defensive side. Usually we're seeing this, but look at this. We're seeing Zach play the Deimos in the same
Bomb
place,
located by
same
attackers.
position in several rounds in a row now on the custom side, like up through the hatch, waiting for the defenders to try and take some shots and using the cover of the hard wall right next to the office as a little bit of protection there, and so he does find another one. Wait, that this is I'm wondering, we're seeing the Nook banned against the LDL Valor team. 3 of the 4 times she's ever been banned is against this team. I'm wondering
Oh,
whether or not it's gonna be a Deimos ban after Zach grabs a second one off the back of, again, great intel from that gadget, right? He's an individual roam clear operator by himself.
I wonder if he's the one that also plays the Nook, right? It's a very similar role that they facilitate between each other. It's sneaky, it's getting up, it's catching them off guard, and so maybe, yeah, could potentially see the Deimos as it's been absolutely huge. Look at that, mad to find Tom off the board now into a 3-2, and Frost on that low health scenario, just three little bars of health to be able to hold on to life and hold on to the round, and that's going to be the Deimos ping. And as soon as he gets it, it's gone. 16
Wow.
and 6 he's sitting whiskey. He just cannot be stopped. They push in, crossfire set up. That's the
15
plant
seconds
going
left.
down, and it's looking like we may be able to find ourselves in
Oh,
a little bit closer to tying this score line up. 40 HP for the Legionist. He's going to have to make the rotate, but it's going to prove to be too much. Bullets everywhere in that post plant scenario.
I thought we were gonna see Legion catch that right at the last second. It was so close. Looked like he had the shot and took it, but it was after the diffuser had already gone down. Hard to see when we can see the outline, but there's so much destruction happening on the doors and walls. Couldn't see whether or not he had a clear shot, but 5 there to the LDL Valor team. They come back. They have won 2 in a row when they absolutely needed to. Again, though, off the back
Commanders,
in
protect your
that
bombs.
round
They're
of,
being defused
you
by
know,
attackers.
back on round 10, it was, or around 9, it was because of Lunar's 4K, and that time Zach's 3K on the demo. So when the individual players needed to pop off here, LDL Valor, they're doing it. They're making it happen. So Asgard needs to find a way to close this thing out permanently. We've gone back and forth on these sites, right? I guess the same thing. Asgard won 2F the first time, and LDL has come back and won it twice in a row after. So now we're going to try one of the
10 seconds to
downstairs
insertion.
sites, the vent workshop, to see whether or not we're going to go to overtime, my friend,
5
or Team
seconds left
Asgard
before
can close it
insertion.
out here on round 12.
I like this adaptation, Whiskey. Asgard bringing out the Fenrir and the Capcan, right? They've been showing the Malusi, they've been showing the Legion, they've been showing the Frost. Give them something that they haven't seen, something that they won't necessarily be looking for. And even if it only amounts to slowing down this attack team by bringing out those Capcan traps, that's still a W, right? Because it's been getting so late in the round where they're trying to get in and get that plant 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 10 seconds left, then that could be the difference maker. And when you're pushing in at 30 seconds to get yourself a plant down, you're not checking doorways, right? Those Capcan traps, that's when that can become a real huge problem. And it only takes one to slow you down completely here. I like this move that they brought out. First couple of kills are going to ring back and forth as the trade rings out. Warden and Ash off the board. Who's the better? They both sit 10 and 10 currently. So a little bit
That's
of an
wild.
even up. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Well, and in terms of utility, right? I don't know that Ash used all of her utility, so to lose that early, definite problem. There's no Mira on the board that you're going to need the Ash for, but plenty of soft breach that Ash gives you the ability to try and open up. Deimos has got that vendetta though, and is going to be able to do some of that on his own. So I think losing that, to me, losing the warden a little bit bigger of a problem. A couple of flashes there in the hands of Flores that he would be able to defend against at this point. But wow, perfectly timed shot there on Flores, but no, it's going to be too early.
I'm not
Wow,
sure. Minute and
shutting that thing
21.
down.
Yeah, not gonna be able to get anything done, and that means those Bandits Chargers are gonna stay. But Damos able to find
Another
him off
Deimos
the
kill.
board. Yeah, he's on pace for that 20 bomb, Whiskey. Three more, and there's three alive, and that's exactly what they need to be able to get it. And that's gonna give him another one as he finds himself at 18 on pace for the double. Mad goes down and still finds him in a 3-2. 57 left. LDL needs this round if they want to take it into overtime, and Zach seems to be the one to give it to him. A couple of shots ringing out. He gets a little bit of damage. That puts him at 19. One left alive for his 20 bomb run. Flores going to be caught lacking from the backside as he takes a little bit of damage, takes the swing up. He's going to get the down, so now into a 1v2. Deimos down below, but not going to be necessary. Unsert going to take it. That's going to take us into overtime. We are officially out of regulation.
That's right, my friend. We are going to overtime. And again, off the back of Deimos and the Zach, that combo, and to have LDL Valor start on attack and continue this, what feels like a reign of terror from Zach right now. 19, 6, and 4. And, Flores there at the end looking, you know, lost, completely lost in that engagement with Capcan. I think that could have ended a little bit earlier as he's working on reloading, giving plenty of time for Capcan to make the rotate back and take the shot from the office. But Deimos was just picking them off one by one, using the ability, targeting an operator, taking them down through the vertical in this floor, right? They just do not absolutely have an answer for that. And if we see this same strategy play out, like, I'm surprised we're not seeing a mute come out in this case from the Asgard team, right? The adaptation to try and deal with the Deimos, put the mute jammers down in your power positions, and then be able to walk over the jammer so that way he loses that drone, right? Cause it to fail. That's a big piece I think we're gonna see maybe change up, and I wish Asgard had read into that a little bit more. Because if Zach picks up another 3K off the back of Deimos intel, yeah, this is going to be a LDL Valor win, and it's only going to take 2 maps.
Yeah, absolutely. And the tough part is like put somebody on. You talked about it. Isolate. This guy has just been allowed to roam and go wherever he wants and click the kill button at his leisure. So that's going to be the win condition here if you're Asgard. First step, you got to preserve your utility. Second step, you got to preserve your lives from the verticality. And that means a little bit of dedication to the roam game. You can tell they're already set up top. Nobody branched out except for Goyo, who does head into security, but they've got no vertical, which means that same play that he has been running over and over again is still going to be left unchecked.
The only adaptation we don't necessarily.
Well, except for that.
Oh, there it is.
Except for that
Yoshiro
part.
finally. takes down Zach, and if you had to pick a win condition, my friend, that certainly feels like it. I was gonna say the only piece maybe that LDL Valour was missing was the combination of the Lion along with the Deimos to try and help him identify targets early to be able to pick them off, but it's not even gonna matter at this point. It was so huge, the 11 and 10 Yoshiro to take down the frag leader. Now all of the work is up to the rest of this team. They were relying on Zach to carry them a little bit at this point. Now it's time for them to step up and fight out this last battle. It's a 4v5, minute 18 left, tied up 6-6 in the first round of overtime here.
Yep, look at this. They're starting to make the push in here. Office area solidified. Now working towards that fountain area to put some pressure on it from 90 as well. Got to find that first opening engagement kill here. And if you're an Asgard fan, you just want a second one to ring out, right? You want to solidify that body balance in your favor because there's only 53 left. You'll be able to just start really holding on and playing towards that refrag. Coming up metal, that's the way you want it. They find one as a Vector screams out. Now Mad does get an F2 kill as he takes the head off Yosh. Now puts us into a 4v3. 37 left as it's starting to look towards that East Valk area. Gotta know somebody's there. Takes a couple of pot shots. Almost comes up with one, but down below the half wall before any real damage is done. 27 as it starts to count down. Looking towards this A site potential plant, but there's some damage going on. There's a problem on the other side of it. It's Warden, and he's got himself a fountain hold, a shotgun that won't be moved, and that's going to be Asgard putting themselves on yet again another match point scenario.
Wow. What a round there from Team Asgard. After 3 in a row from LDL where they looked absolutely unstoppable, we finally get a heroic round out of this Team Asgard. They shut down the frag leader early, and then the shotgun reigned supreme at the end, just back and forth between these guys, finally finding a way to stop the momentum and shut it
Attackers need
down.
to
I
locate and
thought we were
defuse the bomb.
seeing, an LDL sweep here, but Team Asgard knows this is their last opportunity to stay in the upper bracket. They to lose to LDL at this point, they'll be headed to the lower bracket. If they can find a win, they at least get the opportunity to fight it out on Nighthaven. If you're just joining us, you picked a great time to watch the conclusion here for Border in map 2 of this best of 3.
That's right. Pride and ego go to map or go onto the second floor yet again to call it out to say that we can hold it. LDL going to bring along
10
a
seconds
similar
remaining.
lineup, right? That Doc has just proved instrumental
5
this
seconds
evening
left
in being
before
able to
insertion.
bring these players back up into that full stemmed, full health,
Attackers
tip
must
top
locate
fighting
and defuse
shape,
the
and
bomb.
has led to some incredibly impactful kills afterwards. It's even say round saving. So he's going to continue to be one of those critical push point players that you're going to have to take out of either that fountain or that security area wherever he's deciding to hole up. Couple him with the Azami could make it a pretty devastating combo inside of security.
That was close. Almost a little bit of damage there as Bravo trying to use the shotgun to open up the hole, gain some place, and you can see this already. Picking which operator is he going to use, to target first, and using a little bit of intel from upstairs who might be playing in an area that he can work on targeting from this customs area. And yep, there it is. Looks like potentially the Goyo gonna be the one that goes after it. So Tom trying to run the same playbook that we saw the LDL Valor team run.
Well, not a bad playbook if you're going to run one, right? There's the Deimos as he starts to get a little bit of damage. He takes down to that 43, so his location sussed out, and that's going to be Yash to take Zach off the board.
It
Still not
worked.
going to be in hunt for that 20 bomb. Give him a second one as he can't be stopped in the break room. He is absolutely eaten right now as he takes him into a 5v3 with a
A
minute and
bomb has been
42.
located.
A little bit of a switch around here for those Fenrir's. They're going to try to put some pressure on that security side of it, but the damage done. 134. This is Asgard's map to lose and force onto a map number 3.
5v3. Yeah, you said it. Asgard's to lose, and that kill on Zach off the back of the Deimos intel, right? Even though it
Oh,
wasn't Deimos that got the kill, but that was the important one. Lunar, though, has had an incredible game. Look at this. Finally, they're using it. The mute going on top, but he's too late to put it down. He
no
plays out
way.
the strategy exactly as we said he needed to. He is just too late in doing it. He waited until he was already targeted by Deimos before going for it. That incredibly unfortunate. And wow, I'm thinking maybe some sore. I don't know about sore losers there, but dropping out of the server before the game was even over, before the kills were done, not expecting to win it. 8-6 victory there for the team Asgard, coming up strong at the end of this thing. Really unbelievable, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, looking incredible and denied, right? 19 kills to lose. That is a mental chocker right there. That's a tough one. And now, with the momentum in the hands of Asgard, they had to come back from rounds being taken off of them. They had to come back from a defeat on map number one because of that. They rallied together on their opponent's map pick. We're going now into Nighthaven, which has some very similar tactics to way the border can played out to the well put together attack team. I'm excited for this. This is going to be a back and forth, and this is going to be where the magic lives on. It's ESA. We're here for map number 3. Sit back, relax, because when we come back, it's going to get crazy. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. A little bit of an extended pause there, as there is a bit of a lobby issue going on, but we will move forward. We will move on. It is map number 3, and we will not be stopped. I am still the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, my partner and co-host, Mr. Whiskey Run.
Yeah, welcome everyone to the ESA Cup Season 9 playoffs. This is it, the first day of playoffs, and it took all the way to map 3. We got to see a 7-4 victory on Consulate, and then now on after Border, an 8-6 overtime victory for Asgard. Now to Nighthaven, the last opportunity, and it is not without controversy again. One of the players struggling with getting internet, struggling with fighting through getting in the lobby. So I believe we're going to be starting in a 4v5 scenario, unfortunately, for this team. So yeah, crazy to see this double problems happening for these two teams. It's not been smooth sailing for playoff game number 1.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's had everything. It's had quick rushes, it's had crazy bands. We've seen some insane individual heroics. The only thing that we're missing is maybe a solid TK or two, and we've hit like the full bingo card for playoffs, right? And if you're Team Asgard, you're probably jumping up and down right now, right? Momentum is in your favor from your huge win on your opponent's map that you climbed and clawed to get in overtime. You were going into this as the underdogs, and you had a disadvantage in map number 1. So for it to be going the other direction on a map point or a match point, or excuse me, series point situation, you're feeling pretty good about that. Monty and Nook going to be the first bands. No trade out happening on that one.
No, we thought maybe we'd see a change up in the Nook ban on the attacker side from Asgard to change up into the Deimos as the alternative, but they must be more worried about the Nook, and maybe they want the opportunity to play the Deimos as well. So he's going to stick with it. Valk, no surprise, because Nighthaven's such a huge map. All the added intel that she brings to the table makes her a little bit extra valuable as a defender. And the Cade to go down, no possibility to double trick some of those walls or extend, right? Forcing Bandit to be in one place to try and keep some of these breaches upstairs locked up tight. So I think that's a good band. It changes it up, makes it a little bit more active. And again,
Locate and defuse a bomb.
4v5 to start here. Unfortunate for this defending team. Not going to even bring out the breach now. No ability. So and Lunar, Unsert, and Mad, maybe looking for that opening pick again. I don't think that he's going to be taking those extra chances for those opening picks, spawn peeking, anything like that. In a 4v5, you've got to play extra careful.
Yeah, yeah, and that can slow down the gameplay. That can make extra mistakes. Somebody you thought was supposed to be there, not going to be it. So, what do you get rid of in this situation? Wall denial, not a bad thing. It's a foregone conclusion for the
5
most
seconds
part,
to insertion.
anyways, that they're going to get one, two, and potentially three walls opened up,
Attackers'
right?
objective is to
You
locate a
see this
bomb and
utilized a
defuse it.
lot in the same way that you would see the clubhouse take for gym bedroom. You open up everything and then punish people on the rotate back to site. So, if you're Asgard and you know that you've got a man advantage out of the gate, one of the things that you can do to make it a little bit more solid in your favor is send in the blitz, send in the shield. Take that first kill. Yasha's going to find it and already put us into a really desperate situation for LDLs. They find themselves now down in the 5-3 situation already.
Yep, running the blitz almost feels like a bit of bullying at this point. Sometimes he's considered a bully anyway, but like you said, the double hard breach plus the blitz, they're going to have all of these lines of sight open. They can have one player drone in while you're just watching and waiting. But look at this, the C4, this could be huge from this team. Not going to connect. So unfortunate. They did clear out that mirror window as well. So the attackers working on clearing out the defensive utility, approaching it still pretty methodically, but as the blitz taking one down. Oh no, he didn't take one down.
There we go. So you
The
find yourself
C4?
almost bringing almost bringing it around. Shotgun goes out to try and end it as well. Not going to find it. Blitz still staying alive, but the partner is in the background. Warden with his special goggles, looking for the special plays, but it's going to get crossed from the other side. Asgard's going to find it as they just bully their way straight into sight. Find the double.
Yeah, I mean, you've got when you have the little bit of man advantage, you can make that happen. The ace working on opening up the connector wall had, even though it was protected by a mute jammer, they had one of the walls fully open, easy to walk in with both warden and mute struggling to deal with the blitz. I think Blitz got very
Defenders
lucky there
protect your
in that
bombs from being
2v1
defused by
scenario,
attackers.
including facing a warden is not able to use his ability. The fact that he survived, I think, a bit of a surprise, but Ace able to take advantage of just the distraction and come and finish off the last two defenders up top. The 4v5 scenario is going to be tough on the defensive side, so they maybe have a little bit more of an opportunity on the attacking side, but right now Asgard, like you said, it can just continue to bully them, and in this case, they're going to run a very similar lineup here as they take on the second floor again.
10 seconds to
Combination of the
go.
double hard breach and the blitz and the Grim to identify where all the
5 seconds
defenders are
left.
playing. Right, the only thing missing is maybe a Jackal or a
Attackers'
Deimos to
objective
just
is to locate a
really put
bomb
the
and defuse
pressure
it.
on.
Yeah, but they're not gonna have much of a roam game, right? When you're down in the body balance, if you can't dedicate some actual to it, it's gonna be tough to send somebody out, right? Especially if you're playing on that second floor, you're gonna have to stick to maybe more of an extension outside of the roam game. So, not seeing them specifically makes a little bit of sense. Blitz, however, you said it. Bully, 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 and he's going to be on the board to do just this exact same thing again. And they can honestly just run the strat back because they can already just count on the refrags to be able to win the round out specifically. I like the adaptation here, bringing out the doc, making sure that you got some health in those engagements. What would I rather see? Maybe a cap can, right? Maybe a Malusi,
Attackers have located a
something
bomb.
where you're really leaning into those traps, where you're really leaning in and into those pace setting operators, a castle to come out, something's going to slow them down really in an insane amount. So Blitz starting to get active. You can see they're making that rotate out as Grim, as B is going to try to put some pressure potentially from the backside or either coming in for that verticality. Either way, Drone's going to start sussing them out, getting ready to do that 3-2-1 approach where they just collapse on the site.
Yeah, they've got plenty of time to work on getting it set up. They've opened up the walls that they need to in this case, and well, Yoshiro has had an amazing game at this point. Over the course of all three maps, not just here on Nighthaven, but something special in general. A 3v5. Blitz is now making the push in. A double from Joshiro again. Just cannot be stopped right now. I think they've got a little bit of a mental edge, right? That neither of these teams wanted to have to face in a 4v5 scenario, because right, you get a little bit extra, but I think it feels
Attackers
like
are activating
from the LDL side that you're just up against the wall. Nothing is going in your favor. How can you win in those kind of a scenario as well? But Blitz just bullying this LDL Valor team into the ground right now.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I mean, that's what happens for a 4v5. Just send the extra man in. You can just afford to throw something away. So, two in a row goes towards Asgard as they're looking to solidify their third on the round. I'm sure we probably won't see a second or a third attempt. An ego peek at the second floor. Take it down to the basement where the opening is a foregone
Attackers need to
conclusion,
locate
right?
and
Don't
defuse
bring
the
any
bomb.
breach denial. Just bring out your long hold. Mira, a great call. Goyo, a great call. Now, they do opt for a little bit of roam game, potentially, as the Vigil is going to be brought out on the board.
I mean, Mad and we said at the very beginning, or at least I said that, right? Maybe you don't want to take those extra shots, take those extra chances for spawn peaks, because you're in that kind of a scenario. But Mad was when we started this game 26-7, and I think over the course of the last
10
two
seconds
maps,
left.
he added at least four to that opening kill count.
5 seconds.
And only maybe one or two deaths as well. So he's continued to be very positive
Attackers
on that
objective is to
entry,
locate a bomb and
and
defuse it.
Vigil being the operator that he was using most of the time. You had to pick one guy to work on taking those kind of
Attackers bomb
chances.
diffuser
He's the
has been
one. So
dropped.
he's upstairs
Attackers
on
recovered the
2F
bomb
in
diffuser.
electrical, waiting to see whether or not one of these attackers is going to make the push upstairs. Are they going to work on a full top down clear, or you assume that as a team in a 4v5 scenario playing in the
Bomb located
basement
by
is not
attackers.
going to spend the time or the resources to hold something upstairs, and he gets a free one off of it. So the only danger, the Jackal, I know we said they don't need any roam clear, but brought it out this time again just to make sure that they can finish this team off quickly. And he's droning the 2F. This is the spot, but look at that. Mad picking up that entry again. And it's on Yoshiro, who was the leader of the first two rounds.
Yep, and look at that. Blitz, though, however, just going to push in, going to take space. Goyo's taken off the board, and the body balance just going to shift back over to Asgard's here. Now, they're trying to hold it on from the long angle. Does get some damage onto the Thermite as he gets reduced down to that 7 HP, and giving them a chance to rotate back down to side, still in the cargo, still in the vending, so still playing that up top game. The spoiler card here, potentially, as they try to take that verticality. But look, there it is. Blitz going to come up again. They're going to take a couple of shots. Dopey gets taken off the board. Blitz going to find one now into a 3-2. C4 to ring out. Not going to claim anything, however, as nobody there. Now puts the rotate, gets it onto the Thermite, now into a 2-2 as Vigil is able to take that kill off the board. Rotate down. It's going to put the bunker strat into full effect here as Blitz is still trying to come in and find it. He's
Yeah.
not going to. Vector rings out and says good night and goodbye. And now all the pressure put onto Jackal here is he finds himself in this 2v1.
Yeah, 2v1 scenario with a minute left. Plenty of time here for the defense to take a step back, bunker down, get themselves ready. Mira still has one of her windows in pocket, right? Maybe saving it so Ash couldn't destroy it early, trying to figure out where the execute was coming from, but Mad just walks up and wins this one. 4v5, that opening pick and the follow-on kill on the Thermite, the difference makers, and a triple for him to keep LDL Valor in this.
Okay, well, you needed one of those, that's for sure. Had to find a round win. They were able to do it, and that was taking the Blitz off the board. Huge play. So now they got to go back up to dreaded 2F, but you're going to bring along a couple of
Defenders
new
protect your
operators,
bombs
right?
from being
Bring
defused
out
by
the Mira,
attackers.
still hold on to that long angle, play that denial, and then the cap can. And I think that is one of the right calls here. If they're bringing the Blitz, they're bringing the rush. Get them something that's going to slow it on down. I like this
Attackers
call.
have located a bomb.
I mean, if you need a sixth man, if you need a fifth man in this case, bring out the cap can, right? Try and add a little bit extra onto it. And if you're Asgard, we did see them droning, right? The second floor. They were using the util. They were working on clearing and
10
not
seconds
being
remaining.
reckless. But there's a good chance that Capcan could catch them a little bit off guard if they're not expecting it, even if they identify him, right? When you get into that scenario, when you've got
Attackers
the
are
blitz
moving to
and you're
defuse the
making those
bomb.
quick pushes, there's a good chance you can catch them off guard. So I think that's a great pick here. So right now, LDL doing everything they can to stay in it. They're certainly not giving up at this point, which I love.
Yeah, they've got to fight. They've got a little bit of that dog in them. And in a 4v5, you're going to absolutely need it. So, bit of the round rotate is over. Done. Data sayonara. See you later. Now, find ourselves, dang, that's 3 off the board. Going to find those easily and take Matt off the board to go with it. And that was the
Ouch.
spoiler. That was the tough one that gets taken down early. So, put some pressure on, try to take a look towards this mirror. They do get that main breach opened up to start to put the pincher move on. Taking a look at it. Oh, his 6 cents almost paying off there as the C4 doesn't actually net a kill.
No, and not even any damage lost either. So they've got the main breaches open. This attacking team has got a little bit of control. And okay, Lunar, that's one way to do it. Find one, maybe a second, take some damage. Just almost none, though. Holy cow. There's the Grim going to help identify where these defenders are. So I, both of these teams fighting as hard as they can. This has been a great map so far. And what an underdog story.
Yeah, and now puts us into a 3-3 scenario. Barbed wire still being that spoiler, gives away your location and takes a little bit of damage with it. So some bees to suss out location. Nobody close to answer the call here. So get some drones in. You've got plenty of time. Take a second look, find out where these defenders are. See if you can take that space up towards the main breach. Sees a little bit and is pinged out, and now put pressure on from the backside as Blitz starts to peek up a little bit close, a little bit scary, a little bit quiet. The potential predator, and he gets on towards the dock, and it's going to put some pressure on. He does get shot, and there's a pistol pop to body drop. And now Mira, the last alive, 7 HP, no C4 in hand to be able to deal that damage from a distance. So the plant going to start to go down. A quick pre-fire doesn't amount. A location change has to be perfect for this shot as he comes through. Not going to be there, and there it is. The shots from across. Finds it on the body shot.
Running across the open doorway. I mean, you needed to rotate. You were trapped in the corner. Mira had to do something to try and find one there, but it's going to be another Asgard win on their attacking side in a 4v5 scenario. So I, I don't know about this 2F site. There's just so much room to cover, so many avenues to try and attack from. The
Attackers
only
need to
thing is you don't
locate
have
and
to worry
defuse the
about
bomb.
the double vertical, right, if you were to play the first floor site, but I don't know whether or not a first floor might play into their hands where you're holding above, and then forcing the attackers to try and clear above and maybe get an answer down below in a 4v5 scenario. Eh, this is just a tough map. Such a huge map, lots of opportunities for entries here. At least 4 different main lanes of attack coming into this centrally located 2F bomb site. So
10
they've
seconds
definitely
left.
got their
Diffuser
their
ready.
work cut out for them. But LDL Valor did find one
5
off the
seconds to
back of an
insertion.
opening entry. So that'll be the focus and the goal here, not
Attackers
going
are
down
working to
and winning
locate a
that
bomb
opening
and defuse it.
engagement.
Bomb
And they
located by
did bring out
attackers.
some spoiler players, though, right? Thorn, a little bit of that delayed damage as you run past those gadgets, give you a sound cue, give you some lethality if you get yourself in the wrong spot at the wrong time, and 2 C4s and a deployable, right? So you're getting about as defensive as you can get out without. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Almost found one quick onto the thermite there, and that would have been a little bit of a tough one. They didn't bring a second
Huge.
hard breach to be able to deal with it, so almost came up clean, but not quite going to be the case just yet.
I like the addition of the mute too, right? If you're down on the man count, right, maybe use the or mute, I meant Mozzie. Use the Mozzie here to try and steal away some of the intel from the attackers and convert it into your own. We said no Valk available, but you can get 3 of those the opponent's drones. It's taking it away from them, adding it into your column. But look at this. Lunar, well played there. Little surprised to see the Thorn. Yes, she's got those gadgets. They do give huge sound cues and do some damage, but a little surprised to see her be the one played out rather than one of the other ops. But look at this. Everything coming up LDL right now here on round 5.
Yeah, no kidding. And look at that. The shot from Mad down to the long angle is going to leave the Shield last alive here in this minute and 30 left to go. So not too bad. Not too bad of a round in
Well,
this 5v4. You're secure yourself up too. Or Nighthaven can be attacker sided, right? If you've got a well put together attack team, it can be attacker sided if you've got the numbers advantage right away. So taking two on defense doesn't feel so bad.
I mean, against a 4v5 kind of a scenario, I mean, the stats on Nighthaven for ESA say 57% defensive win rate, so a little bit on the defender's side for
Defenders, protect
Nighthaven,
your
but
bombs.
I
Don't
gotta
get
believe
duped
in a
by attackers.
4v5 scenario, that's gotta be closer to 30%, something like that. Well, in this case, right now, we're at what? 2v3. So, 2 out of 5 rounds so far, the defense has managed to win. And the fact that they got that second round, again, off the back of a great shot by Mad and then some great plays by Lunar, they're putting their work in. So now they can't play the upstairs anymore, have to go back down to the basement. We're not going to see how a first floor hold would
Attackers have
go.
discovered the
But
location of a
they
bomb.
were successful the last time they did play basement
10
back on
seconds
round
left.
3. LDL Valor won it.
Okay, so the chance for a
5
tie
seconds
up is
remaining.
huge and present, and you talked about potentially needing to see some of that
Attackers are
roam
moving to
game on the
defuse a
board
bomb.
as the missing piece for Asgard, and they're going to give it to you, Whiskey. Jackal going to be
Attackers
Jackal
dropped the bomb
and
diffuser.
Dokkaebi going to be played
Attackers
out here.
recovered the bomb diffuser.
Right? If you're expecting the rat play from the LDL team in order to try and win a little bit of an engagement, right, you can't take it direct. So they know that they have to try and play rat corners to catch one of the attackers off guard. And bringing out the roam clear to make sure that you're not going to lose one of your operators and immediately tie this thing up. Super important part of what Asgard needs to work through. The thing that it leaves it open for the defense is a rush play on the attack side, taking advantage of a lack of defense locked in place, right? If you've got somebody upstairs on 2F, that means at best you've only got 3 operators holding down site, and that's a late round rotate, right? They could be doing a 5-man rush to flood the site and get a plant down, shut this thing down very quickly. So I'm almost a little surprised we didn't see that here on basement.
Yeah, especially because it's not just having three down, right? Both Solus and Vigil are up on that first floor holding on to the verticality. Now, if they find this first kill, they're going to be heroes, right? They're going to take that man advantage and they're going to be able to slow out the time and force the engagement. So if they don't, then it's a, well, duh, you didn't have anybody up there. And there it is. Find them too. Mad going to find a double. They're going to take the body balance. And then all of a sudden, this question of whether it was a hero or a
Attackers
zero
have
play
recovered the
comes
bomb.
up with hero for sure. Vigil gets taken down as they stop the flow of bleeding. Now equalize on the man count. It's Thermite down to a 16 HP. Blitz starting to receive some damage as they put some pressure towards that vending machine area, and they still have to deal with cafeteria presence. Solus, the one who is holding down, going to be that secondary source to fight against the Blitz, who does sit at a 42 HP. So Goyle rotates back down. A C4 goes out with the ping, and he isn't going to find it, but a P90 is. That's going to take a headshot down. A P90 for two, as now it's only Thermite left onto the board. And you know what? Chalk it up. Up, three down. P90 takes them all.
3-3 half between these 2 teams in a 4vx scenario. I mean, like we said, maybe on defense a little bit easier to try and hold down. I think they're going to struggle on the attacking half of this
Got
map
the bomb diffuser has been
against a
dropped.
very good Asgard team. But the double from Mad there to clean it up, I think really we should have seen maybe that rush play. They
Defenders,
just fed
protect your
them,
bombs from
you
being
know.
defused by attackers.
Asgard fed the LDL team in ones, let them take that one away. So now they've got all the opportunity in the world here to try and shut it down on defense. But 3-3 in a 4v5, I think that's going to go down here as an important point for this opening round of the playoffs here in the ESA Cup. LDL is a team not to be messed with.
No kidding. No kidding. Okay, so op swap. This is where the real test. This is where you were talking about. This is where it gets difficult.
10 seconds
Is
remaining.
now you have to put together a fully functioning attack strat
5
with
seconds left.
one member short, right? And who do you give up? Do you give up
Attackers must locate and
your
defuse a
roam
bomb.
game clear? Do you give up your hard breach? Do you give up your hard breach support? Like who goes in this situation? For this attack team, they decided they're going to hang on to the Twitch to get rid of some of that gadgetry, mainly trying to suss out those mirrors and get them taken care of. A little bit of intel. Is Grim going to be on the board? Ace to open it up, and I guess that's who you're giving up at this point. You're giving up the double hard breach for the 2F site.
Watching the round develop, you got the Warden playing upstairs on the deployable shield. Really, all they need to do, a little bit of distraction, force it in. But I'd like the Twitch coming in to try and clear out utility. That's unfortunate for the Twitch drone to go down. You need that to be able to clear out defensive utility. You cannot have Capcan trap, mute jammer, another the mirror windows help hold you
Bomb
back
located by
on
attacker.
the attacking side.
Yep, absolutely. So locked in, everybody up top in the 2F location. Everybody going to prevent that site over type of play that makes it so difficult, or one of the standard ways to find it, and that's going to be huge, right? You take Grim off the board. There goes the intel. Find a second mirror getting taken down as the trade back happens, so the body balance in your favor, but then gets taken on to Unsert, which now puts us into a 4-2, looking towards that mirror angle. Oh, the swing. Mad going to find himself another one as he puts himself on a 9-4. Now into a 3-2 with 124 left on the board. Starting to push in towards that site. Got to put some pressure onto it. No diffuser in hand, Whiskey. So they've got to get this done the old-fashioned way. A little bit of gunfight. Holding on to the pre-fire. Not going to amount to anything onto the Azami. And so it's going to be a little bit of the scenic route. A fake out. A psych. He's going to jump back in and put some pressure back on again.
That's right, with a minute left in this round, a 3-3. It's a 2v3. They have come back. Lunar, boy, they just keep winning these gunfights. They have evened this thing up on attack. Still a lot of pressure, though, for the attackers to find and get that diffuser down or find a couple of these kills, because you have got the defenders in power positions. They've managed to cover part of the site, but look at that.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
The
Incredible shot by
collateral.
Senzo. Did they line up?
Oh,
They lined up. Oh,
give them a free one and call it 2. 2 for the price of 1. A buy one, get one combo loco. Jeez. Okay. Great shot. Ends the round. Defense is going to take it.
I mean, definitely a struggle there through the mid round for this Asgard team, right? Trying to find and hunt
Defenders,
down
protect your
the
bombs from being
attackers, and the
defused by
attackers
attackers.
just picking off defenders one by one, giving them a little bit extra to make this work. So now, as they try and hold on to the basement, that's a 2F, a 2F Asgard win. Um, it should not have been that close. Right? It should not have been. You get down to a 2v2 with the final few seconds left. If the LDL team hadn't lined up exactly in the sight of Azami's gun, um, it could have
10 seconds
completely
to
gone the other
insertion.
way. Did not need to be that close. So Asgard, I
5
think,
seconds
can
left
lock
before
this
insertion.
down, shut this team down. But right now, LDL,
Attackers'
they are
objective is
hitting
to
all
locate
their
a bomb
shots
and
when it
defuse it.
matters.
They really are. It's close for
Attackers
a
dropped the diffuser.
5v4 on a map
Attackers have
3.
recovered their
Let's
diffuser.
go. Playoffs here in the ESA, my friend. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Well, maybe I'd give LDL a 5th. Maybe. Okay, what are we seeing on the defensive side of it? Whiskies, we take it all the way down to the EXO area. Are going to kind of do the standard that you would see up top, right? Ace and Thermite to be utilized here, but only one set of impact grenades, so he's hoping to catch it, but it will be a bandit trick. He's going to be able to take that wall down, and now they're down 1 EMP. If he can't at least get one of the walls open, they're going to find themselves in a really tough situation, and they do. Single gets opened up. Now put some pressure onto the bandit. He goes back. Does have C4 in hand. 3 of them, mind you, is Mira and Mute, both able to take that vertical play. They're spread out, and they can do it because they've got the man advantage, Whiskey, right? Goyle all the way up on the second floor, Legion on the first. It'll make you suss out every area or pay the price for not getting the drone.
I think the attackers are going to struggle with that, not recognizing that Goyo's upstairs, not having the time. They don't have the luxury of time right now to try and identify where everybody's at. Maybe they got the idea that somebody's upstairs. Yeah, there's a yellow ping coming out,
Attackers have
so
located a
get the
bomb.
idea that somebody's upstairs. But walking and waiting through the Legion, whether or not this is going to come out in favor for Goyle. All he has to do is hide, hold some trigger discipline. He is tying up one of the attackers, right? Even if he doesn't do anything, it doesn't kill the attacker. He's just wasting time. We're at a minute 10, almost an entire minute off the board waiting, trying to deal with him, and he's still there, still alive, still wasting time and pulling Ash out of the fight.
Yeah, maybe going to get a kill here. That's the big part, right? Didn't have to move, force the engagement because the clock starts to tick down, and he's rewarded for that. Now finds himself in a 5-2 situation, still with the roam game heavy and present, as Bandit moved up top to help support the Legion as well. So going to have to rely not on vertical. That takes us now down into the last one alive. It is going to find one. Uncert takes one off the board, takes a second off the board. Almost takes a second. It is going to miss that shot. That looked like it was just about spot on. A C4 to say, hello, we're watching. Still has one on the board to send should somebody start to get close, but with 19, feels like a too little, too late scenario here if you're LDL, because we are spread out, and you're going to have to go for a
10 seconds
scary
left.
bit of a plant. Oh,
Or you could just walk right into a C4 and have the defense take it again. So overwhelming asset, great play there again upstairs. I know we talked about it during the round, but hit on the Goyo upstairs again, completely wasting a minute of time upstairs. Even though in spending droning resources to find him, spending droning resources to ping him out. Right, those were red pings coming out. That means you had Ash walking up the stairs to take the engagement, and one of your other
Attackers need
3
to locate
players
and
on
defuse
a
as many
drone
bombs as they
to be able
can.
to identify and take that player out and work the intel side, right? A complete waste of time for 2 of the 4 operators, 50% Joan to deal with 1 operator Goyo killing time. I mean, really, there was no way we were going to see LDL win that round with the way that Asgard
Attackers
had
have
played it
located a
out, and it
bomb.
was too little, too late to work all the way from minute 2 to minute 1, trying to clear out that top floor.
Yeah, and missing that third player, right? No pinch to be had there.
10 seconds to
If
go.
shots could have come up from that breachable wall,
5
then
seconds
yeah, we
left.
could have maybe seen it sussed out a little quicker. It's the problem with being down by one man to start it
Attackers are
out.
heading
So
out to
you can see him
defuse a
lean
bomb.
into it, right? One person upstairs, or excuse me, 2 upstairs, Zombie and Vigil, and 3 down on the first floor. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see somebody rotate all the way down to EXO to try to play spoiler at the end, to try to play that impact player at the end. Couple of pre-fires, almost gets a kill. Ace gets taken down to 61, and that's a little bit of a lesson learned for some Cubers to try to push in. And here's Milo and Jesse J's favorite operator here as the OSA starts to come out.
I know when you're saying favorite operator, I think you mean their least favorite operator in an ironic kind of a way because they're certainly not OSA fans, and I don't know that I am either. I think she's got some plays, she's got some uses, but whether or not in the current meta she's worth an attacker, I'm not sure that that's the case, especially when you're talking about a 4v5 scenario, right? Yeah, you can set up a little bit of a power position, but generally the shield's easily taken down by impacts, and in this case, the defending team has got 4 of them, right? Would you rather have the mobile shield of Blitz to be able to try and push in? It helps you clear out areas quickly, right? It seems like maybe a better choice than the Osa.
I'd agree with you. Yep, she's very niche in what she brings to the table, but if you're looking for some solidarity, some consistency of where that shield is going to be, it's a mobile deployable, so not too bad. Gets the
Winning
reload.
pick.
There we go. Gets the reload and then gets the pick onto Azami. And that's going to be huge, especially because Tom just not being that impactful player that we saw on the last round or on the last map, right? Not having that same sort of impact. Still here, still around, and still up in the scoreline, but down on the KD for sure.
Just using the Flores, they're going to try and open. They need to open up. They need to clear any of the utility here in the kitchen because you've got all the defenders stacked up. They're ready and waiting and know this push is coming from the kitchen side. Osa backing up her position a little bit, try and cover the hallway as they get themselves set up. So with the Twitch outside going for the push in outside. I like the way I was gonna say I like the way that they've got this set up, but it was covering the window jump in there
Attackers
from
recovered
deep
the bomb
insight.
diffuser.
Yeah, and so they are going to be able to get
Attackers
Ace
bomb
back
diffuser
up.
has
Wow.
been dropped.
They'll find the
Attackers have
kill
recovered
onto
their
Yash,
diffuser.
which puts
No
us into
way.
a 4-2 situation. Oh, a little bit of back and forth is going to mount another kill. And you know what? Give Mad one. Let him do it flawlessly and let him get it that much closer to tying us up.
There's no way we should have seen a flawless round in starting in a 4v5. That is absolutely wild between these two. Um, uh, um really, really crazy.
Siege Poetry. 4-5 and a 4-5. Round number
Attackers
10.
need to locate and defuse as
Getting
many
closer
bombs
to
as they
tying this
can.
bad boy up. And if you're Asgard, right, does this play into your mental a little, right? That you can't get the job done even though you start with the body balance, even though the refrag game is all you need to play here. Got players walking up and finding that one, finding that second one, finding triples on the round to just be consistently good. Mad and Luna are both going 10 and 6 right now. Well, we'll find out. Going to be 10 seconds left as you start to see the defense prepare. And they're going to lean
5
into
seconds
that
to go.
similar lineup, right? Deny, deny, deny. Bring out the mute to
Attackers
deny
are moving in
intel.
to
Bring
locate a
out the
bomb and
Mira
defuse it.
and the Azami to deny that long game. Bring out the Warden to deny any smoke or utility dump that comes out. And then, of course, to deny death itself. Doc to be the final member rounding out that team. I like this call of bringing out the Maverick this time, right? This will allow you to be a little bit more impactful. It takes away the need for the EMPs. It takes away the need for the second hard breacher, especially if you let Ash come in and open up any soft breach that you've got in your favor. The big part, got to stay alive to do it. So any engagements need to be had after you start to get that open and done with.
Yeah, I mean, I like the point that Mav sort of eliminates the need for some of the combination of operators, but the dangerous part is he's vulnerable to the
Attackers
C4s,
recovered the bomb
and I
diffuser.
was literally about to say that for the Mav part, but then it is the ace that goes down from the C4, unfortunately. Um, this is definitely a little bit crazy right now to see how close LDL was getting, but that C4 might have been the turning point here for Asgard to put themselves on match point.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so 4v3 looking towards the Mav holes to try and equalize on this score line. Does put them into a bit of a precarious situation, but still plenty of time. It's a pre-fire through onto the pillar, trying to see if they can get this Azami, who's still solidifying her position in more. But this is the mistake. They come up to the pillar to
Bomb located by
put some
attackers.
pressure on, and Ash is going to be there to answer, to be that folly, to be that spoiler person if they get a little bit too close. Takes a quick pre-fire, but instead pays the price. A little bit of damage done onto the Ash as she gets reduced to the 73. Striker also down to that 25. Lunar able to get another kill, equalize onto the score line, puts us into a 3-3, puts us into a 2 as the Vector rings out, a shotgun to answer back, now into a 3-1. Ash the last alive with 57 in which to do so, and now the pressure really starting to mount. This is a match point scenario coming up next if Asgard can hold on to it right now, and they have got the operators to do it. A shotgun to say hello, nobody to answer just yet as he tries to take another free fire. He gets close, but instead he's going to pay the price as that 19 HP is going to turn into a hope and a dream with 33 seconds left on the board. Pre-fire everything. Gotta have to deal with the split and no C4 to send it, but there it is. Tom able to find that kill and put them onto a match point scenario.
They definitely needed to, like, I don't know why Warden was swinging that, right? You're forcing the attacker to walk through a single open door, as the only option, right? You had two other defenders covering the open breach. The best chance that Ash had, which she did win that gunfight, was try to walk through the single. Then to rotate back into the breach where it was well covered, I think was a
Attackers
bit
need
of
to
a
locate
mistake.
and
But
defuse
the
as many
first
bombs
mistake
as they
made by
can.
Warden from walking and trying to swing that, going for the hero play, just let Ash walk in, get a little bit closer, take a shot, and you easily win that just a few seconds earlier. But everything was going Team Asgard's way again. We knew this was going to be a tough climb for the attacking team in a 4v5 scenario. They did manage to win one, but it was on Kitchen, right? And if you were going to pick the worst site on Nighthaven, Kitchen is the one. I'm not sure why Asgard took that as the option
10
rather
seconds
than
left
control
before insertion.
storage, right? Unless they just thought maybe they'd throw the 4v5 off a
5
little
seconds
bit, but
left
there's a
before
reason
insertion.
that it's the worst, is because it's difficult to defend. So
Attackers
play the
must
basement
locate and
now.
defuse a
This
bomb.
is very much potentially the last round, match point, series point here, and the first playoff game here in the ESA quarterfinal point.
Okay, so it's LDL. All the pressure going to be mounting here. Is the attack strat in the bin, or will they be able to do it again? Couple of shots already starting to ring out as they put the pressure. Here's the big deal. They need to find that isolation. Who is going to be the one that they can take off the board? So far, seems like maybe you might be able to put that pressure onto the Legion. A little bit of isolation, but he does have the buddy system in place. Goyle very close, sitting in that storage and vending area. So a rotate all the way upstairs here for the attack side as they've now got that 2F control. Start to put some pressure and start to suss out where is this second at. Ooh, he gets it there. Now that is a good play, right? They ping him out. They've got him located. They know somebody's on the first floor, so now they just have to put the pincher move on. But don't look away from where he potentially was sitting onto that pillar area. Or you're going to find your life forfeit as you move up. Now gets close and ready for the swing here. Going to see our first bit of action. It's like a horror story, Whiskey. Who's going to pull it out first?
Yeah, good. I mean, good discipline here from the defending team and not needing to rush it, not needing to take the engagements. Yeah, trying to take some of these vertical fights, but to me, again, interesting that Asgard, which had been doing very well with the roam, allowed this whole team to go down to the basement rather than trying to waste some time upstairs again. That was what won them the round previously, but okay, we'll just let Senzo go ahead and take a triple on this round. And there it is. LDL just quitting the game at the end.
Wow. Jeez. Okay.
What a
Well,
anticlimactic end to that, to what was a fantastic battle between these two teams in a best of three. LDL Valor put up a great match to start this thing off, even though they had a little bit of an advantage. I mean, they were playing their hearts out. Asgard absolutely showed up, fought all the way through the second map, and then to end up in a 4v5 at the end, and then to just give up. It felt unfortunate way to see this best of three end.
that's the truth. It was a valiant attempt, right? You're down in the numbers, the momentum's not in your way. The mental shock, of course, can be absolutely devastating. And they just, I guess, chose not to finish and fight that one out. Hey, what you gonna do? Sometimes when you're beat, you're beat, and he just wanted to beat and ski. Got himself out of there. But
Yeah,
overall, what an
unfortunate.
incredible game, though, right?
Yeah, really great to see the 2 teams battle it out. I know LDL Valor came in, they hadn't played in a very long time in ESA, one of the top teams for sure in the EU console siege scene, and we know that they're gonna make a run in the lower bracket. That's just gonna have to be the place they start. So, big GGs for Team Asgard for winning the first playoff match, their quarterfinal match here on the ESA, and sending LDL Team Valor down to the lower bracket.
That's right. Nanos buff pays off for that one. So I guess let's take a quick look at the updated bracket. Oh, actually, let's just tell you what tomorrow's game is going to be. Cook taking on Entropy, same time tomorrow, and this promises to be as much of a banger as the last one that you got to just watch. Hopefully, look for that aggression to kick in, the interesting map choices and operator bands to just really tell us a story tomorrow. It's going to be a fun one, Whiskey.
Yeah, it is. Very much looking forward to that. So, for us, though, that is the end of the show here on the ESA Cup Season 9. It has been a great one, my friend. What do you think?
Yep, I think we've come to that dreaded part of the evening where we must, alas, bid you adieu. So, as the lights start to dim and the jukebox starts to sing closing time, as always, my friends, you don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here.
Ayo.
Let's go.